Shall I fetch you another pillow, Lady Bourne?
No, thank you, dear. Oh, I look as I've been dug up out of my grave.
We all think you're looking so much better. Would you like your compact?
Yes, please. I'd better put some powder on my nose and try to look civilized. Oh, look at my hair. Oh, dear.
I'm sure your son will be so pleased to see you that he won't notice.
Oh.
There. Now that's better, isn't it?
Thank you. There. I think I heard the lift.
Did you?
I'm certain it was.
You have sharp ears, Lady Bourne.
So I've been told.
I'll go and see. Oh, good afternoon. Here she is, Commander Bourne. All ready for you.
Thanks awfully. Well, look at you.
Arthur. Oh, thank God. Come here and kiss your poor old ailing mother.
Oh, come on now.
I'll be outside if you want anything. Just ring the bell.
Oh, I've been so dreadfully ill and nobody knew where you were. And they tried to telephone you out in Germany.
Yes, Mother, I know. Now come along now.
Oh,
dear, there's no need for that. I'm here now. You're on the mend.
Who said I was?
Oh. Now, the matron, I saw her downstairs, you know. That's Sister Phyllis. And the doctor, I hear, is very pleased with you. Came in to see you earlier this morning, I tell.
Yes, he took another x-ray of my lungs to see whether the infection had cleared up enough to get me out of this dreadful morgue.
Dreadful morgue, Mother, really.
It is a morgue. People are carried out on trolleys day and night. I think I saw the woman from upstairs.
Oh, Mother, don't be morbid. Anyway, you look pretty comfortable. It's a nice room, isn't it? Light, cheerful.
Well, so it ought to be at 12 guineas a day. Like being carted off to die at the Ritz.
Oh, Mother, you're not going to die. Now, you're going to cheer up. Tell me all the news.
You tell me the news of poor little Anne and Helen.
Well, they're bearing up, you know. Dr. Edelman is very pleased with the way Anne is responding to this X-ray treatment. Yes, they've located the growth, you know. It's what they call supracella. As they're rather nasty things which can lead to a gradual loss of sight.
Oh.
Rather tricky to operate on because of the risk of hemorrhage. That's why Edelman's treating her with this new ray thing.
Oh, it all sounds absolutely horrible.
Oh, no. It's not as horrible as an operation. No, Helen wants to come home quite soon, you know. Leave Anne in the care of the nurses. But I'm in favour of her staying on for the time being.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Lady Bourne, but we have some rather good news for you.
Dr. Malden has looked at your X-ray, and he says it will be quite all right for you to get up tomorrow and travel to Herefordshire by car, provided you're warmly wrapped up. So that's nice, isn't it?
That is splendid news, isn't it?
At last I can escape from this chromium-plated slaughterhouse.
Lady Bourne.
Mother, that's not very grateful.
Oh, I'm quoting from Dr. Cronin's new novel, The Citadel. Phyllis brought it to me from the Times Book Club.
I just thought you'd like to know what the doctor had to say, Lady Bourne. I'll come back later.
Sister, I'm sure you've all been kindness itself. I don't think Lady Bourne meant...
We've all done our best for her.
There. Now she's in a huff.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Well, she obviously hasn't read The Citadel yet.
Well, I doubt very much if she has time to read novels, poor woman.
Now you're cross with me.
Yes, a bit, because that was most unkind and rather ungrateful.
Well, I shall apologise to her later.
Yes, I think that'd be a very good idea.
We'll see who that is, Arthur.
Hello, Granny.
Hello, Daddy.
Daddy!
Hello, dear. Well, now, you better go and kiss your granny first, haven't you? I can wait for mine.
Oh, would that be all right?
Yes, of course. Go on.
Hello, Granny. How are you feeling?
much better, darling. Oh, thank you. How lovely.
I'm afraid it's only a small posy, only I came on the bus and I didn't want the flowers to get crushed.
Oh, but how pretty it is. Snowdrops, violets, and aconites.
And some mahonia as well.
Mahonia. Yes, and it smells exactly like lilies of the valley. Delicious. Now, they must go and water at once. We get the nurse to bring a little vase.
Or put them straight into a tumbler, Granny. Keep them fresh for a while.
Oh, that's right, darling. You'll find that thing there, I think.
Well, how's the music going, Vicky?
You haven't heard, have you?
Heard what?
I passed into the academy.
You didn't.
I did. Well, you look so surprised. Didn't you think I could?
No, not at all. No, I knew you'd do it. Oh, my word. Well, my goodness me. Well, I'm glad. This is really something, isn't it? Oh, well done, Vicky.
Isn't she a clever girl? We're all so delighted.
Daddy, I was so thrilled, and it's all because Aunt Phyllis made me practice like mad these last few weeks. I played the Beethoven Sonata in G and a Schubert piece, and then something very difficult by Stravinsky.
Oh, my word. I bet you were scared, weren't you?
Oh, yes, I was petrified. Just before I started, my fingers went completely numb, so I had to wiggle them about like mad. But once I started, I was all right.
Well done. You know, that's a real triumph, isn't it? I mean, I've got to go to the club and get changed now. I'm dining early.
Who are you dining with tonight, if I'm not being too inquisitive?
Oh, no, you're not being inquisitive at all, Mother. I'm dining with Sir Michael Barrell, you know. Rosie Cartland's father, my old chief.
I know he was. And will Mrs. Cartland be dining too?
No, she won't. Ladies not allowed in the dining room at the Naval and Military. Anyway, I expect Mrs. Cartland is at home at Layford, you know, with her husband. Well, I must be off.
Oh, don't all go at once.
I'll stay, Granny, for a while, if you like.
It's a good girl, Vicky. You stay and talk to Granny. Oh, by the way, dear, when are you coming up home?
Oh, on Friday, if that's all right, for the weekend. I'll catch the 3:24.
All right, well, then someone will meet you at Aubrey, either Gates or Liz or me. Well done. I'll see you in the morning, Mother. Now, do try and get a good night's sleep, won't you, because it's going to be a tiring drive.
Yes, dear. Enjoy your evening.
Oh, be good, both of you.
Oh, I'm so glad you could stay, Vicky. It's nice to have company.
As long as it won't tire you, Granny.
Oh, dear me, no. Tell me some more about your music.
Oh, all right. Isn't it funny, you know, I can see the good old Ram from here, just across the road.
Ram?
The Royal Academy of Music. I can't wait to begin my studies there. Oh, I met an awfully nice girl at a Deb's lunch called Laura Collins. Well, actually, we met on the doorstep of the house where the lunch party was. She was terribly nervous, like me, so we sort of got chatting. Her father was an air marshal, but both her parents were killed in a motor crash, so she lives with her grandmother near Paddington, but she loves the country. So I said she ought to come and stay with us at Larkfield sometime, and she said she'd love to. So I thought I'd ask Daddy if he minded if I invited her up to stay. Well, I miss Anne so much, and Liz is always going off to Wales, so... Granny? Granny?
I'm afraid the food here is not up to the standard of the senior.
Oh, I don't know. I thought we dined rather well. By the way, you were going to tell me about that reception at our embassy in Berlin.
Oh, yes, the meeting with the von Reichels. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
What is it, Hannah?
You're wanted on the telephone. It's the London clinic, sir.
Oh, my God. Would you excuse me?
Of course.
Which
The call box in the hall by the porter's desk.
Hello? Yes, Lady Bourne for you.
Thank you. Hello, Arthur? I'm so sorry to interrupt your dinner, but I quite forgot to ask you if you'll call at Phyllis's on your way here tomorrow morning and collect a piece of needlework that I left on her sofa just before I was taken ill. Only, you see, I want to have it in the country.
Yes, of course I will, Mother. No, I won't forget. How are you this evening?
Much better, dear. A little tired still. I dropped off to sleep while Vicky was still here, and the poor child thought I was dead and rang for the nurse. It must have been her little voice droning on. Well, Arthur, I mustn't keep you. See you in the morning. 11 o'clock. Good night, dear.
Good night, Mother. I'm so sorry about that.
All well?
Yes, my old mother wanting a needlework fetched. Gave me quite a...
But she's so much better, I hear.
Oh, yes, she's better, all right. She's coming out of the clinic tomorrow, you know, taking her up to Larkfield for a few days to recuperate.
Oh, are you? Then we might see something of each other. I'm bidden to Layford for the weekend.
Oh, splendid. Well, then we shall no doubt meet.
Unfortunately, Geoffrey and Rosie have to go out on Saturday night. Some official dinner at Gloucester. Otherwise, I'd have suggested they ask you over to dinner.
Well, why don't you come over to us? I mean, we'd love her.
I must say it would be very pleasant to see your house and share a crust with you and your girls. You were about to tell me about that party in Berlin.
Oh, yeah. Yes, the embassy reception. That went off very well. Neville Henderson duly introduced us to one or two people, and then Rosie, calling me Artie in a very loud, clear voice, she took me very possessively by the arm, steered me across the room to a very handsome, charming couple.
The von Reitels.
Oh, this darling is Liesel von Reitel, a very old school friend of mine, and her husband, Captain Manfred von Reitel. He bowed and clicked his heels, so I did the same. And we spent the entire evening together, you know. No, we dined and supped and got on famously.
And what's he like, von Reitel? I mean, what sort of chap?
He's quiet, you know, rather nervous. Cagey. Plays his cards extremely close to his chest, you know. So... It's very much as you suspected, because he's up to his neck in it with General Beck and the Wednesday Club. They're all his friends, von Rausen, Blomberg, von Trott. He's one of them, all right.
Yes, our people thought he might be. That's hopeful.
With respect, I'm not sure that it is. See, it's one thing to plot against Hitler, quite another to betray your service and your country.
Did you get a chance to talk to him alone?
Yes, indeed I did, thanks to Rosie. She must have worked extremely hard on Frau von Reitel. Anyway, we were duly invited to their rather ugly villa just outside Kiel. Spent 48 hours there.
Good God. Well, how did you manage about the domestic arrangements? I mean, the bedroom problem, eh?
Oh, yes. Yes, so there. Well, your daughter is extremely resourceful. She told Frau von Reitel that I snored, as they gave us separate bedrooms.
You'll be damn careful, won't you, Arthur?
Yes, of course I will.
I mean, it only wants one astute German passport official on the Swiss frontier to start asking you questions and... well...
I know.
I'm sure you'll take the greatest care.
I'll have to. Oh, would you care for another brandy?
Thank you, Arthur.
Hammond?
That's breakfast all set up and ready. I've made them some nice kedgeree this morning, Fred. You know, he loves this kedgeree, does Mr. Ashley? Oh, I say, your fire's smoking a bit, isn't it?
Well, these logs are still damp. New lot in, you see, they haven't dried out properly. And it's blowing a gale out there.
Well, it's nice to have the house full again, isn't it, Fred?
Oh, I don't know about full. There's only 4 here for the weekend. Commander and Miss Vicky and the 2 Aldens. Miss Liz isn't here.
I know she's not. She's gone to that friend of hers in Wales again. Nanny said she went off in a mood. Didn't want to see her father.
Oh, why not?
I don't know. I think Nanny knows, but she wouldn't say.
Had a row, have they?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. She was in a proper temper, you know, that night Lady Bourne got taken ill, and she couldn't reach the commander out in Germany. Mind you, Fred, if you ask me, I think she was a bit frightened. Been left here all on her own and nobody to turn to.
Well, last time that happened, I seem to remember she turned to Mr. Carlin.
Oh, yeah. Mrs. Cartland's been in Paris, did you know?
Yes, I did. You told me.
That's the second time this year she's been abroad at the same time as the commander. Just after Christmas it was skiing in Switzerland, and now Paris.
I don't know what you're implying, Eileen. But whatever it is, I reckon you ought to keep your trap shut.
Good morning, Mrs. Gates.
Oh, good morning, sir. It's all ready for you in the dining room.
Good. Am I the first down?
Yes, you are. Oh, I've made you some nice kedgeree this morning.
Have you? That's a treat. I'll get at it before the others come down.
Good morning, Mrs. Gates.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, did Miss Elizabeth give you that message about dinner this evening?
No, sir.
I sent a message down from London. We'd be 5 this evening. Sir Michael Burrell coming over from Layford. The Admiral, not the others. I thought she would have told you.
No, sir. She didn't mention anything to me about it.
Oh, I see. Well, can you manage?
Oh, yes, sir. That'll be all right. That's 5, then, for 8 o'clock.
Yes, please. Has Nanny taken her ladyship's tray up? Eh?
Just taking it up now, sir.
Oh, good, because she's wide awake and asking for her breakfast.
Oh, well, that's a good sign, anyway.
Yeah, she's much better this morning. Quite a good colour. Oh, thank you, dear. Oh, come on. Now, what is the betting that we are first down to breakfast?
I bet you we're not. I bet you a shilling Grandpa's down already.
Right, I take you. Because, you know, Grandpa's never down before now.
Ah, but there's kedgeree this morning. Come on, let's go and see. Oh, hello, Mrs. Gates. I was just looking for Daddy.
Oh, I think he went to look at the boiler with Gates, miss.
I was just wondering if you wanted anything in Horbury, only I'm going in on the bus.
Oh, well, if you are going in, I could do with an extra pound of sugar and a tin of sweet biscuits. We're almost out.
Right, pound of sugar and a tin of sweet biscuits. I'll pop into Tilly's on the way to the
Right.
bus.
Thank you very much, miss. It can go on the account.
Mrs. Gates?
Yes, Miss Vicky.
How old is Mr. Gates?
How old, miss?
Yes.
Well, he'll be 41 next month. Why do you ask?
Would he be too old to fight if there was a war?
Oh, good gracious. What's a young lady like you worrying her head about that for?
Yes, but would he be too old?
Oh, yes, I think so, miss. You see, my Fred was in the last war. Gallipoli and, oh, goodness knows where else. He got a medal. Now, I suppose it'd be the younger men that'd have to go this time. Well, that is if it happens again. Oh, not that it will, dear. Not now. Not now there's the League of Nations to stop it.
Is that what Mr. Gates thinks?
He does.
I see. Well, I must rush or I'll miss my bus. Pound of sugar and a tin of sweet biscuits.
Oh, Vicky, that was delightful and beautifully played.
Thank you.
Quite first class. Excellent. What was it?
A part of Beethoven's Appassionata. Only I made a mistake in the middle.
I'm sure no one noticed it, dear child. I certainly didn't. Didn't you think Vicky played that piece well? Arthur.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm so sorry, Mother. Yes, very well indeed.
She studied at Munich, you know, after she left school, didn't you, Vicky?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, did you? Munich, eh?
Yes, I loved it there.
Does your daughter play at all?
Rosie? No, not really. Had lessons at school, of course, like most girls. Gave it up soon after. Strums a bit now and then to amuse herself. Great pity.
I understand she's very interested in travel.
Not especially.
Oh, I heard that she liked to go skiing in the winter and to Paris in the spring. Wasn't she over there quite recently?
Mother, I don't think Sir Michael wants to be interrogated about his daughter's trips abroad. It's really not our business, is it?
I'm sorry.
Well, I must weigh anchor, I suppose. It's gone midnight.
Oh, won't you stay? Have another whiskey and soda?
Not for me, old chap, thanks. Ought to get back. my bedtime.
I get you, okay.
Good night, Lady Bourne. I enjoyed
Good
meeting
night,
you.
Sir Michael.
Good night.
Good night, and I'll certainly convey your regards to the Third Sea Lord.
Yes, please do. Petty word major. Ask him from me if he's mastered the theorem of Pythagoras yet. Now, bet he hasn't. Always was rotten at geometry.
That doubtless is why he became the most brilliant navigating officer in the Atlantic Fleet, eh?
Oh, yes.
Thanks very much for feeding me, Arthur. A most pleasant evening. I enjoyed the music.
I'm very glad you could come.
Now then, it's left and Winchley, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Left at the pub called the Load of Hay, and then it's about a mile to the level crossing, straight over that and on to Layford. About 3 miles in all.
Right.
Good night to you.
Good night.
Oh, still blowing out there?
Yes, not so hard now, though. Wind's gone right to the southwest. Get some rain, I expect.
What a nice man.
Yes, isn't he?
Pity Liz wasn't here. Wretched girl making the numbers uneven.
Yes, it was a bit of a letdown, wasn't it? I wonder what made her push off to Wales like that. Couldn't she face us or what?
Didn't you say she left you a note, Arthur?
Yes. Well, she enjoys visiting her friend in Wales. Has been holding the fort in my absence, probably felt like a change for her. Got into a car, drove over to Brecon. Oh, she's been before.
Well, I have a feeling that she's upset about something. Don't ask me what it is. I simply don't know. Well, I'm going to bed. Good night, Charles.
Good night, Alice.
Good night.
Dear.
I think I'll go up too, Daddy. Night, night, Grandpa.
Good night, Vicky, darling.
Good night.
That's right, Nicky, now. You come along with Granny. It's high time we were both in bed.
Would you care for a nightcap, Charles?
Yes, I'd love a very small whiskey and soda, please, Arthur. Do you think we could take our nightcaps into your study, Arthur?
If you like. Yeah. Oh, come along. I'll put a light on.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you, Arthur. Arthur, I want to ask you a question, if you don't mind. It is personal, I'm afraid.
Far away.
You'll think it none of my business. Very probably it isn't. But I must ask you where you really were when your mother was taken ill. Now, I'm not the only member of the family who wants to know this. Would you mind telling me?
I thought I made it perfectly clear, you know. After leaving Helen and Anne in the Black Forest, I went on up to Hamburg. And Mother knew, I told her. Do you mean to say she kept this information to herself?
Oh, no. That is precisely what she told us, the girls and me, that you'd gone on to Hamburg.
Well?
Well, she said that you went up there to see some chap you knew, a German. Was that the truth? Was it, Arthur? Or were you meeting Mrs. Cartland in Paris? Now, Arthur, Vicky knows nothing about this, I'm sure. But Liz has come and confided in me, and she's very troubled, you know. That's probably why she went off to Wales like that. She seems convinced you've been spending rather a lot of time abroad with Mrs. Cartland. Now, where you go and what you'll do is your own affair, but I do think you owe it to your family to tell us the truth about this and put a stop to all this rather unpleasant speculation, don't you agree? I mean, for Helen's sake, if for nothing else. After all, she's your wife, Arthur, and she's my daughter.
Charles, I don't want to appear discourteous, but I think we'd do better to end this conversation, if you don't mind.
Just as you wish. Good night.
Morning, Mr. Ashley. Nicer this morning, isn't it? It's not so cold.
No, quite.
You got your letter then?
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Gates.
Oh, I do hope you don't mind me asking, sir, but could you do me a very great favour?
Well, of course. What is it, Mrs. Gates?
Well, Commander and Mrs. Bourne have always let me have the stamps off the letters from Germany. Ever since Miss Anne first went to Munich, you see. Not for myself, you understand, but Mrs. Bakewell, well, she lives in the village. Her little girl, she collects foreign stamps, you see. Well, I couldn't help but notice this morning that you had a letter from Mrs. Bourne. I do hope you don't mind me mentioning
not
it,
at
sir.
all.
But...
There you are. There's the stamp straight away, Mrs. Gates.
Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, that is good of you. Thank you very much, sir. That is kind. Mrs. Bakewell's little girl will be pleased.
Oh, good.
I expect Mrs. Bourne's given you all the news. How Miss Anne's going on?
Yes, Miss Anne's getting on quite well.
Oh, that is good, isn't it, sir? Yeah. Well, I must be getting on, if you'll excuse me, sir.
Yes, of course.
Yes, I'm sorry, but it was quite unavoidable.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir.
Would you come back later, please? I'm extremely busy.
Very good, sir.
I'm so sorry. Yes, I do realise the importance of the meeting, right? I hope you gave my apologies to the Rural District Council. Good. No, I could not write because I was abroad and out of touch. My wife is out in Germany at the moment with my daughter at a clinic. I have to go out there and visit them from time to time. Yeah, well, I will do my best to be at the next meeting, having read all the reports. Yeah. All right, Mr. Will. Goodbye. Who is it?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, well, is it urgent, Gates? Because I'm extremely busy.
Well, there are one or two matters that I should report, sir, and a couple of things I'd like to ask you, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Well, sir, in Mrs. Bourne's absence, is whether I should go on with the stoves in the greenhouse, sir. Mrs. Bourne usually turns them off when the weather gets a bit warmer in order to save paraffin.
Yeah, well, it's warm enough today, man. Turn them off.
Only it's the early tomatoes.
No, turn
you
them
see,
off.
Sir. Oh. Right, sir. Oh, and we'll be needing some more anthracite for the boiler, sir.
Right, order it. Now, is there anything else?
Well, sir, I've had the old Wolsey's batteries out on the bench, sir, but they're not holding the charge. If I might go into Albury this afternoon, sir, and get a new accumulator, she'll have to have one, sir.
Yes, all right, do that.
Oh, and if you've no objection, sir, Mrs. Gates and me will be off again this weekend. Well, we did have to stop here, sir, while you were abroad, and we haven't had a day off, sir.
Yes, I know, but who is going to drive Mr. Ashley to the station?
We'll be back Sunday evening, sir. Just slipping over to Leominster on the bike.
All right, Gates. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Layford 17, please. 17. Layford Park. Who is it?
Daddy?
Oh, what is it you want, dear?
Oh, you're busy. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Come on in. Oh, no, what is it you want?
Well, I know you'll think it's silly, but it says here in the Daily Sketch there's probably going to be another big war. Grandpa doesn't seem to think there will be, but... Well, I wondered what you thought.
What I think, eh? Well, no, I'm not sure what I think is necessarily right, you see. Various people have different opinions. Sit down, Vicky. Now, the last thing I want, you know, is you three girls having sleepless nights and worrying your heads about things like wars.
But Daddy, Liz says the Germans are arming for war all the time. Will it be against us?
No, against the French, more like, you know, or Bolshevik Russia. Of course, we might get involved because there are such things as treaties, but, you don't want to brood over things like that. Anyway, you're girls, aren't you? War doesn't affect you quite so much. Now, if you had a brother, Well, then you'd have cause to worry.
But we might have young men in it like Aunt Phyllis did.
My dear, I pray that it never happens and that you never have to go through what Aunt Phyllis and her generation went through.
Yes, poor Aunt Phyllis.
Vicky, tell me something. That von Heinig boy.
Klaus?
Do you still correspond with him?
Oh, yes, all the time. At least I write to him and he answers my letters.
Are you fond of him?
Fond of him? Oh, Daddy, I'm in love with him. I thought everybody knew that.
And is he in love with you?
I'm not sure. I think he is. Oh, but lately his letters have been so serious, all about his labour service and the Hitler Youth. Well, he doesn't say many nice, loving things. Still, I think he means it.
I see. Well, is there anyone else in mind? I mean, for you, I mean.
Well, I think Peter Cartland's awfully good looking, but I don't cut much ice with him.
Well, why not?
Well, he's so much older than me, so sophisticated and smart. More for Liz, really.
Oh, pity.
I expect I'll marry Klaus in the end. Unless... I must let you get on with your work, Daddy.
All right, Vicky.
Daddy, when you went to the Admiralty, was it them wanting you to go into the Navy again to fight?
No, dear. No, nothing like that. No, it's just something to do with a training in case of war. We're not going to talk about things like that, are we?
No. Oh, well, I better go and see if my bantams have hatched out yet. The old hen's sitting on 9 eggs.
Thank you, Gates.
Morning, sir.
Ah, good morning. The family musician, eh?
Good morning, Sir Michael.
Is the father about?
Yes, he's in the study, through there.
Thank you. It's all right, my dear. He is expecting me. At your service?
Oh, by Jove, that was quick.
Found my way last night, all right. Even easier in daylight.
Well, it's very good of you to come over. I thought we might talk more privately here in my study. Of course, there's every good reason why I shouldn't go popping over to Layford every 5 minutes.
Yes, I can see that. They're wondering about your relationship with Rosie.
Yes, they are. And with very good reason. No, my father-in-law is onto it. Suspects I was in Paris last week. God knows how. My eldest daughter, Elizabeth, she is so convinced that her father is a two-faced adulterer that she's gone off to Wales in a mood.
Yes. Bit of a problem, eh?
Well, I'm all for doing my duty for king and country, sir, but for goodness sake, how long has this charade got to go on?
You must have cover, Arthur. And Rose is the best cover available for the time being. Once you move into the Kiel area, if the von Reitels see through it, you're done for.
But how vital, really vital, is this report that you want?
Absolutely vital, Arthur. I don't have to tell you that we're an island, that our sea routes are the country's lifeline. No British shipping, no food for the people. The Boche could starve us into surrender. It's bad enough getting agents' reports pouring in from Kiel of U-boats, building at the rate of 4 or 5 every 6 months. Now it's these wretched pocket battleships.
Yes, I know. A friend of mine at the club saw the Admiral Shear from the air the other day as she was cruising in the Baltic, escort of 6 U-boats round her. We got a rather blurred aerial photograph from about 600 feet. And a week later, got a sharp letter from the Civil Air Authority passing on a complaint they'd had from the Germans. Well, they'd got his number. Well, they're damn lucky not to be shot down. Well, they're very sensitive about these ships.
Of course. And I want to know about the 2 new ones recently commissioned.
All right. I will do my best next trip.
Get me that report and I'll have you replaced, Arthur, before the end of the year. Let you go in peace. That's a promise.
I would be very grateful.
Ah, there you are, Charles.
As you say, here I am.
Would you feel like a little walk up the drive?
Well, surely you're not thinking of going out now?
I certainly am. It's warm today.
Well, of course it's warm. There's going to be a thunderstorm. Don't you feel how close it is? There was a flash of lightning just now.
Nonsense. It's not going to rain yet a while. Oh, dear. You may be right.
I know darn well I'm right. I say, look at that.
Oh. Dear, I shall have to wait now for my walk till it's over.
Yes, you will, Alice. Come and sit down, my dear. I want to talk to you seriously.
Oh, dear. What have I done?
Nothing. And keep your voice down. I don't want us to be overheard.
Why, What's happened, Charles?
Well, I've had a letter from Helen this morning which has made me rather anxious.
About Anne?
No, not about Anne. It's about Arthur.
Arthur?
Yeah. Oh, good morning.
Good morning, Lady Bourne. Good morning to you.
Michael.
Good morning, Charles. Oh, hello, Mother. Nice to see you up and about. And I'm just going to see Sir Michael off.
Oh, you're not going in this.
I don't mind a drop of rain, dear lady.
I'll see you to your car, and then I'm going over to the garage.
Oh, Arthur, you'll get so wet.
Oh, Mother, I got a cap and a raincoat.
Well, you'll have to run or you'll get soaked.
Off we go, eh?
Off we go, then. Out into the store. Oh, where the I call rain.
Now then.
Well, Helen says that she's been very unhappy about Arthur's recent visits to Freiburg. She accidentally overheard a telephone call he put through from the clinic to the Hotel Crillon in Paris, asking to speak to Mrs. Cartland.
There, I knew it. What else does she say?
Well, she's being very discreet, as usual, and trying not to jump to conclusions, poor darling. But it's plain to me, reading between the lines, that she suspects what we all suspect.
I've had my doubts about that Cartland woman all along.
Now, Alice, it takes two to form a liaison, and I cannot believe that Arthur
She's
would
had her claws into Arthur ever since they came to live at Layford.
Nobody gets their claws into Arthur against his will.
But that's the point, Charles. Arthur seems to have lost his will, and she's got him in the palm of her hand. I'm merely facing up to the fact, rather bravely, in my opinion.
Oh. Well, I wish you'd face up to Arthur and have it out with him.
Oh, you do you?
Yes, I do. After all, he's your son, and he's head of the family, and this is a matter that ought to be settled at once before there's any damage done to our family reputation. I think you ought to go to him and demand to be told the truth.
Well, I don't agree. This is Helen's problem, not mine. And as she's abroad and can't tackle Arthur herself, I consider it's up to you to act in your daughter's interest.
Oh, you do you? Well, I can't say I relish the idea. After all, you know, it may be a perfectly innocent friendship.
Spending a weekend together at the Crillon in Paris doesn't sound to me like an innocent friendship.
But who said anything about them spending a weekend together?
Well, didn't Helen say in her letter that she heard them arranging it on the telephone?
No, not arranging anything, just speaking to each other.
Well, then, of course they were arranging to meet in Paris. It's obvious.
Yes, I'm afraid you may be right.
Oh, it's dreadful if it's true. And you must speak to him, Charles. And at once.
Now, you're asking me, a guest under his roof, to go to Arthur and accuse him to his face of infidelity to my daughter?
Yes, you must. It's got to be faced.
Gosh, I've been pouring down cats and dogs. Oh, Granny, Grandpa.
Yes?
5 of my bantam chicks have hatched out and another is almost out, so I'll have 6 chicks in time for Easter.
Oh, really?
Would you like to come and see them? Or not now, when the rain stopped?
I'd love to, Vicky.
Oh, good. Oh, it looks like it's getting brighter already. If you'd like to come out.
You know, thunderstorm's not a bad thing. Might clear the air a bit.
Oh,
Hello, Danny. Did you get caught in it like I did?
yeah. Just made a dash for the garage. Have a look at the car battery. It's easing up a bit now.
Then I shall go and look at Vicky's bantam chicks.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, please.
Yes, thank you. It's not raining so much, is it? And I've got my nap. So I think...
Arthur, could you spare me a moment?
On again, my dear? Yeah, yes, I should think so.
In your study?
All right. Come along then.
Thank you. Arthur, I may only be an old schoolmaster, but I'm not a fool. Now, I think that you've been meeting Mrs. Cartland on your trips abroad after your visits to the clinic. And because there's something going on between you two, you were sent for to the Admiralty that day in January by her father, your old chief, to discuss the matter. Well?
I'm afraid I can make no comment on that, Charles. I'm extremely sorry if I appear grossly discourteous, but the matters you're raising are private and confidential and highly personal. I can only implore you to believe in me. Trust me. Rest assured that Mrs. Cartland is an old and a good friend. I repeat that. A good friend. Nothing more.
But Arthur, I do trust you and believe in you. And your reaction to my very impudent probing confirms my interpretation of your recent activities. Now, I want you to trust me and to take my word that nothing that I'm going to say will ever be repeated outside this room.
Charles, if you've guessed the truth, and I very much hope that you haven't, well, then of course I trust you, because indeed I must. Because I expect you, of all people, will realize the danger, right, to me and the family, if this ever comes out.
Yes, indeed, I realize that. Now, Mrs. Cartland's father, Admiral Burrell, has recruited you, hasn't he, to do some intelligence work for the Admiralty?
Yes. Yes, that is correct.
And using your regular trips to Germany as a convenient cover?
My dear fellow, they're paying my fare to Freiburg.
Yes. Now, on your last visit, you went to the Altona district of Hamburg and also to Kiel, somewhere near, which makes me think that the German naval dockyards were the object of your interest?
They want information on 3 new pocket battleships.
Ah. But where does Mrs. Cartland come into this?
Charles, Rosie Cartland used to play tennis at school with a German girl, Liesel Brunner. Now, she kept up with her for a time and then lost touch. But a couple of years ago, she had a Christmas card from Liesel, who was married to an officer in the German Navy, Manfred von Reitel, and living somewhere between Kiel and Hamburg.
I'm beginning to see.
I wonder if you do.
I think so. Admiral Burrell was on the lookout for a retired naval officer with technical knowledge and fighting experience to insinuate himself into German naval circles.
That's not bad for an old schoolmaster, Charles. No, it was partly Jackie White's fault. That chap who came down tried to coax me into writing those newspaper articles. Remember I told you?
Yes, you did.
Well, Rosie found me living in the district. Jackie, who was also engaged in naval intelligence, confirmed that I was living the life of a dull, anonymous country squire. So, Rosie's father sent for me, talked me into taking on this mission.
Which involved visiting the von Reitels together?
As man and wife. Rosemary Burrell, a dull, conventional country bumpkin of a husband, didn't know a pocket battleship from a ploughshare. I wore my glasses all the time, talked about turnips.
But wasn't that risky?
Yes, Charles, it was. And it still is.
Well, how much longer, Arthur?
Oh, just a few more months now. Oh, Charles, we got some damn valuable stuff already. Just a few more facts to establish, and then Sir Michael has promised to replace me, bring in a new man.
Yes. But as soon as Helen and Anne get back from Freiburg, they'll have to know, won't they?
Yes. Yes, my cover will be gone by then.
Oh, well, I wasn't far wrong, was I?
No. No, you weren't.
Arthur, I don't like the smell of it. For God's sake, be careful.
Oh, Charles, it's a necessary duty. Like any duty of that kind, it carries a certain amount of risk.
Firing squad at worst. Certainly imprisonment.
It could. But you know, the only way I can be sure of covering my tracks is to make absolutely certain that every single member of the family, that includes all our acquaintances and friends, goes on believing what they are bound to believe.
That you're in love with Mrs. Cartland, and using your visits to your wife and your sick daughter in the Black Forest in order to meet up with your lady friend. A charming portrait, I must say, for a man of integrity and honour.
But Charles, I can't help that, because that is the way it's got to be. Now, discovery of the truth, it could mean my arrest by Nazi intelligence. And the necessary explanation that I have to imply, it could mean my shame and degradation in the eyes of my mother, my sister, my children and my wife. It's not really a very enviable dilemma, is it?
Oh, Arthur, my dear chap, I don't know what to say. I'm going to forget that we ever had this conversation. I'm going to wipe it clean out of my mind and carry on in the knowledge that Helen's marriage is as intact and as safe as ever it was. But Arthur, look, what am I going to tell Helen? You see, she overheard a telephone call you were putting through from the clinic to the Crillon in Paris, and, well, she wrote to me about it. A very distressed and puzzled daughter. I shall have to answer her letter.
Then, Charles, you must tell her. You must tell all of them. That if there is any question of my having an affair with Rosie Cartland, then Geoffrey will be the first to institute divorce proceedings, citing me as co-respondent.
But what if he does? What's to stop him?
Well, no, he won't. That's the point.
Why not?
Because Geoffrey knows the truth. Yes, has done all along. Rosie told him she had to. Now, that is why I'm using a double passport. And that's why I had to trust him, as now we have to trust you.
I see. Well, that seems to be that.
No, Charles, there is just one thing.
Hmm?
Now, when you answer that letter from Helen, well, will you tell her that I make no secret of meeting Rosie in Paris or anywhere else abroad where we may happen to be? This is simply so that we can travel back from Europe together. And then she must be free either to conclude the worst or to trust me. Now, there's no other choice.
So it would seem.
Sorry, Daddy. Only I was wondering if you and Grandpa would like to come see my bantam chicks. No, you wouldn't, would you? You're too busy.
Oh, we're not, are we, Arthur?
No, not a bit. Just passing the time of day, eh? Now, what have you done with Granny?
Well, she's seen them, but she got her feet a bit muddy in the orchard, so she's gone upstairs to change her shoes.
Oh, now come along then. Lead the way.
All right.
Are you coming, Charles?
No, you go on. I'll see the chicks later, if Vicky will forgive me.
I'll forgive you, Grandpa. I'll show them to you after tea.
Good.
Storm seems to be over now. Quite a bit clearer.
Got your feet wet, I hear. That's not wise.
I've changed my shoes and stockings.
Good.
Well, what did he say?
What did who say?
What did Arthur say?
Oh, nothing very much. We had a little talk, a little rather private talk, as a result of which I am convinced there's no further cause for concern whatsoever. And now I suggest we stop worrying about Arthur's private life and get on with our own affairs.
Oh, I see. Well, we shall just have to go on wondering, shan't we?
Not we, Alice dear. You may, if you choose to. I don't intend to pursue the subject any further.
Very well.
Now, I think I'm going to get on with my crossword. If you'll excuse me. Perhaps you'd like to do your needlework, Alice dear. One across. Oh, that's easy.
That's Miss Phyllis just arriving. She's putting a car in the garage. I thought we weren't expecting her for Easter, miss.
We weren't. She was going to Cornwall with friends. Damn. Don't worry, Mrs. Gates. I'll come and talk to you about dinner in a minute.
Yes?
I know. Aunt Phyllis has just arrived.
Yes, she's just talking to Gates in the yard. I thought she was going down to Cornwall.
Yes, well, so did we all. I expect she was let down. Oh, dear. This means the seating for dinner will be all wrong. Does it matter?
Well, better if we could get another man.
I suppose we could ask Dr. Cropper or the rector.
Well, Morris is getting a bit deaf these days, isn't he? Better make it old Croppy, always game for a free meal. I'll ring him. No doubt you'll want to go into a huddle with Mrs. Gates.
Yes, I must.
Oh, and Liz, do try and be kind to your Aunt Phil, will you? It is her home, you know.
Well, she might have rung up and said she was coming.
Oh, you don't? When you come back from Wales.
No,
Right, Mrs. Gates, I can manage my case.
Here she is.
Remember.
All right.
Well, here I am, the bad penny.
Hello, Phil. What a lovely surprise.
Hello, Phil. How are you, dear?
Oh,
Didn't expect you. I thought you were going down to Cornwall.
I've changed my mind. It's too far. How's Mother?
Well, made a remarkable recovery. She's resting upstairs.
Yes, so don't wake her.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Well, I'll go and ring up Cropper.
Who's ill?
Oh, no one. Daddy's going to ask him for dinner tonight.
Really? Why?
Well, for you. Otherwise, we'll be odd numbers.
Every time I come up now, there's a dinner party. Who is it this time?
Aunt Phil, what a surprise. I thought you were going to Cornwall.
I changed my mind.
I'll take those. Gosh, what a lot.
Yes, my bantams are laying like mad.
Well, let's have a look at you. Bursting with health, as usual.
Am I? Well, you look a bit pale. Are you all right?
Of course I am.
Well, you look what Granny calls peaky. It's lovely to see you. I've got some new pieces to play you.
Let's go up and see Nanny. She might make me a cup of tea. Mrs. Gates seems in a bit of a panic.
Oh, Liz, too. There's a dinner party
So I
tonight.
gather. Who's coming?
The Cartlands.
Not Geoffrey Cartland.
And Mrs. and Peter.
Oh, I don't think I can bear it. Perhaps I'd better not come down.
Phil, you will have to, dear. I never heard such nonsense. I've just run Cropper. I can't put him off. Anyway, what on earth have you got against the Cartlands?
Nothing. Nothing whatsoever. They're all quite charming. Come on, Vicky.
Oh, my dear father, you have just put your foot in it. Both feet.
What have I done now?
Well, I never told you, but... Well, do you remember that night in January when you came home from abroad and found us entertaining Phyllis and Geoffrey Cartland? Well, Phyllis and I had the most appalling row that night.
Well, yes, she did mention something, but I mean, what was it about?
Geoffrey Cartland. Well, she said that I was man-mad and that I was always chasing after married men. Well, he flirted with me.
Well, it's not very surprising. I mean, Geoffrey flirts with every woman he meets.
Yes, but he was supposed to flirt with Phyllis.
Major catastrophe. Yeah, I don't know what's the matter with your Aunt Phil these days.
Well, perhaps a long hot bath will do her good. Oh, what did Croppy say?
Oh, delighted, you know. Yeah, almost asked what the pudding would be. Dreadful old sawburn.
Well, it's chocolate souffle. It's one of his favourites. Oh, Mrs. Gates will have to make some more now. I think I'd better go and soothe her.
I'll go and soothe your Aunt Phyllis. No, perhaps not.
Just me, dearie.
Come in, Nanny. Not locked.
Got your clean towels from the airing cupboard. I'd have had them in your bedroom if somebody had told me you were coming.
Well, it was a last-minute change of plan, Nanny. I was going to go to Cornwall for Easter, play golf and get some sea air with a friend, but well, the friend changed his mind. So sooner than spend Easter alone in London.
Quite right. Far better here than gallivanting off to Cornwall with unreliable men.
All men aren't unreliable, Nanny.
You seem to be the ones you get entangled with.
I do have a knack for falling for the wrong sort, don't I?
It's a pity. Still, you're a bonny lass at 35, I'll say that for you. There's nothing the matter with your face or your figure. It's just your taste in men that's the trouble. Now, don't stay in there soaking too long. It's got 10 to 8 already.
Wasn't he rouge? I wish you'd learnt to knock, Vic.
And I wish you weren't so frightfully bossy.
All the same, you knock on Mummy's door, so why not mine?
Sorry. Well, I do.
It's a bit old for you. Wherever did you get those earrings?
Out of the dressing up box. Remember when Anne went to the Addisons' fancy dress party and there was such a row?
Oh, take them off, Vic. You look like an advertisement for something.
Something improper, I hope.
You're in a batty mood this evening, aren't you?
Here, will you do me up? Thanks. What were you looking for, anyway? Rouge. What on earth do you want rouge for? Oh, of course. To impress Peter Cartland, I suppose.
Well, you must admit he's jolly attractive.
If you like that type.
As it happens, I do.
Well, if you want him to like you, I shouldn't go downstairs looking like a Mayfair tart.
Perhaps he likes Mayfair tarts.
Look, Vicky, I absolutely forbid you... Give me that.
No, that's mine! Oh, now look what you've done!
Oh, Vicky. Oh. Well, now you'll have to change.
Oh, damn, it's ruined!
Well, no, of course it isn't. Look, Nan is marvellous at taking marks out. Oh, don't be upset, Vic. Look, why don't you put on that yellow dress?
It's awfully little girly.
Oh, Vic. You know, the last time I was speaking to Peter, he was saying that yellow was one of his favourite colours.
He was? Did he really?
Really and truly.
Oh.
And while you're about it, I'd alter your hair and take that muck off your face and get rid of the earrings.
Oh, all right, bossy. I should be jolly glad when Mummy gets back. It shouldn't be long now that Anne's so much better, should it? Meant to be marvellous.
Marvellous.
Well, you don't sound very pleased. Don't you want Mummy back?
Don't be idiotic, of course I do. Well, it's only that before Mummy went away, I was dreading having to run the house and act as hostess and go to things with Daddy. And now I'm really rather enjoying it.
Better than being a lady doctor?
Well, I don't know yet.
What did Anne say?
Anne?
Well, you had a letter by this afternoon's post. Can I see it?
Look, Vic, I can't think where I put it. I'll show it to you later. Go and get changed.
All right. Oh, darling, dear sweet Liz, I am going to sit next to Peter tonight at dinner, aren't I?
Oh, dear, I was afraid you'd ask me that.
Afraid?
Well, Phyllis is sitting next to him.
Why?
Well, because they're both interested in music.
Well, so am I, so I can sit on his other side.
Well, I'm on his other side. I'm the hostess.
Well, that's not fair. You pretend you don't like Peter, and yet you grab him for dinner. Why can't you sit next to old Mr. Cartland?
He's not particularly old.
You know what I mean.
Well, I am sitting next to him. He's on one side of me and Peter's on the other.
Oh, you're doing nicely, aren't you? Is that the seating plan?
Yes, but it's got nothing to do
Why
with
have you asked Croppy?
We had to when Phil turned up to make the numbers even.
So I've got Croppy on one side, who still thinks I'm 6 years old, and Peter's father on the other, who can talk about nothing but hunting and motor cars, while you're enjoying yourself with Peter and Daddy flirts with his precious Rosie.
Vicky, please, don't talk like that.
You know it's true, even if you won't discuss it with me.
Look, there's nothing to discuss. Vic, go and get changed. Otherwise the Cartlands will be here before we get down.
If they are, Granny and Grandpa can entertain them. They've been ready for ages, as per usual.
Come in.
Are you all right, Olga?
Old girl.
Or little sister, if you prefer it.
I do.
The car go all right?
Fine.
Good.
Why?
I don't know. Thought you were a bit moody. Tired, actually?
It is a long journey.
Yeah. Phil, it's very nice to have you down for Easter. Much better than...
Cornwall?
Yes. I'm glad you changed your mind.
Larkfield is home, isn't it?
I'd very much like you to think so. Well, I better go down, greet these Cartlers.
You mean Geoffrey, Peter, and Rosie?
Yes, I do. Now, don't be long, or you won't have time for a drink.
Oh, yes, I will.
That makes 2 shillings you owe me.
You're too good for me, Alice.
I keep in practice. I made the matron, thank you, dear, the matron at the clinic play a game with me every afternoon.
Oh, who won?
She did.
Good.
Well, if some of them don't come down soon, we shall be left to greet these Cartland people when they arrive.
Alice, you sound as if you don't approve of them.
He isn't quite out of the top drawer.
Yeah. I wonder where he went to school.
Oh, I asked Arthur to find out. It was Dulwich.
Oh, yes.
But his son went to Eton.
Nothing but the best for Cartland Jr. Have you met him?
He was here on Boxing Night when you had to go to Hereford to see your organist friend.
I remember.
Yes, he's a nice-looking boy with a good deal of charm.
Hmm.
Oh, dear, I hope Phyllis doesn't lose her head.
What, do you mean like she did last Easter?
Yes.
Oh, with that actor fellow? Oh, dreadful young man, friend of Anne's. I forget his name.
Gerald something.
Yes. Oh.
Poor Phyllis. I worry about her sometimes. Although I know she has a very full and busy life in London.
Well, eligible men of her age don't grow on trees.
No.
Still, I'm glad she's come after all.
So am I. We've always spent Easter together. All the family.
Yes, not all the family this year.
No, sad, isn't it? It's the first time I remember an Easter without Helen. Charles, it's time she came home.
Well, I think she may be home quite soon, you know, now that the news of Anne is more encouraging.
The sooner the better. She's needed here. Arthur only seems to have half his mind on Larkfield. Do you still refuse to tell me what he said when you had that...
Oh, there you both are. Punctual to the minute. I wish I could say the same for the younger members of my family, you know. Lizzie's always just on the verge of being late. Well, she ought to be down by now.
Well, I think she's done splendidly in her new role as mistress of the house.
I agree.
Yes. Mustn't grumble. Sherry, Mother?
No, I think perhaps not tonight, thank you.
Charles?
Thank you, Arthur.
Here's one of them.
Oh, doesn't the child look sweet? I bought her that dress at Woolland's.
Daddy, you really must say something to Liz. You simply must.
Oh, must I? And what about?
Well, she's got the seating plan for dinner all wrong. It just isn't fair. She won't let me sit next to Peter. She says she's hostess, and so she's got both the Cartlands sitting next to her.
Has she? Well, then I'll have to see about it, won't I? No, by rights, she ought to have both the oldest men sitting next to her, Geoffrey Cartland and Dr. Cropper.
Thank you, Daddy. Will you tell her?
No need, I heard.
Oh,
I think it's most unfair of you, Daddy.
Oh, I don't think so, dear. I mean, to be perfectly correct...
I don't know why you didn't ask Phyllis to do the seating plan and order dinner as well.
Well, I would have done, dear, but she didn't arrive until this afternoon.
Liz, dear, we were just saying how beautifully you were managing everything.
Yes, indeed.
Except for tonight's dinner party, it would seem.
Oh, darling, now, come on. We all make mistakes sometimes. Let's have a look. Oh, well, it's perfectly simple, isn't it? See, you simply put Peter there and Croppy here. And do it for your father, will you? Because I have a very good reason for asking.
Right.
Satisfied?
Well, you can talk about medicine to Croppy. And you'll have one of your admirers on the other side.
What's all this?
Well, didn't you know Mr. Cartland's potty about Liz?
Who is?
Mr. Cartland, of course.
How amusing. Might I have a whiskey and soda, or was that too much to ask?
It's much too much.
If you'll excuse me, I'm going into the kitchen to see if everything's all right.
Phyllis? I read an awfully good notice for a concert in the Manchester Guardian. Neville Carter spoke most highly of the pianist. Sharon Berens, wasn't she an old pupil of yours?
Yes, that's right. She's quite brilliant. One always knew that. The Queen's Hall was packed.
Oh, I wish I'd been there. What was she playing?
Schumann's Papillon Suite and the same Beethoven that got you into the Royal Academy.
Oh, dear. Why did you alter the seating? It seemed rather unfair to Liz.
Oh, have my reasons, you know. Strictly between ourselves, I'm very anxious that Vicky should find a new beau as soon as possible.
Why?
Well, sooner she gets that von Heinig boy out of her system, the better, you know. The way things are going in Europe.
Oh, Arthur, you don't think we're going to have a war just because the Germans have marched into the Rhineland, do you?
No, Mother, no. I'm afraid they got away with that. But, well, German, you know. Last person I choose for a daughter of mine.
Does the child think she's in love with him?
Yes, I'm afraid she does. So, if Peter Cartland can make a hit with her...
Yes, but you must explain to Liz.
Yeah, it's all right, Mother. I will.
Think I hear a car now.
Oh, yes. Vicky, open the door to them, will you, dear? There's a good girl.
All right, Daddy.
Oh, how ridiculously young he looks. You'd never think he was over 40, would you?
Who's over 40?
The king, of course.
Oh, yes. I saw him the other night at the embassy with a party. Now, she looks as...
Cartland's.
There you are. Good evening to you.
Just I'm not late.
No, not a bit of it. Glass of sherry?
Thank you.
Oh, hello, Crop.
Good to see you looking better.
Nice to see you.
Well, good evening.
Good
Nice
evening.
to see you again. Hello, Phyllis. How are you?
Ah, well, there we are.
Thank
Now,
you.
Tell me what you think of that. Got a couple of dozen from Berry Brothers.
Ah. One would say a manzanilla.
And you'd be absolutely right.
It's good.
Yes, I think I'll...
The cartons are
some
here.
more, yeah.
Oh, hello, Dr. Cropper.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, I like it myself. Now, Mother, don't get up.
No, indeed. You mustn't disturb yourself after your illness.
Haven't the slightest intention of getting up.
I hope we're not late.
Oh, there you are. No, not in the least. Do come and talk to my mother. Mother, you know Mrs. Cartland?
Yes,
Good evening.
I do.
I'm so pleased to hear you're better, Lady Bourne. You gave poor Arthur quite a fright, you know.
Oh, I'm perfectly all right now, thank you.
Good.
And you know Dr. Cropper, of course?
Of course.
Good evening.
And my father-in-law, Charles Ash.
Hello, Mrs. Gardner.
How nice
It's always quite a gathering at Larkfield at Easter. You know?
So we popped over to see some polo ponies at Worcester. I'm terribly sorry, that's why we're late.
Oh, that's all right. You've met our Aunt Phyllis, haven't you?
Yes.
We met on Boxing Night last year and again in January.
Yes, that's exactly right. Thank you very much. Well, I suppose we'll all be going to the point on Saturday.
Oh, yes, of course we will.
And mind you put your money on Tallulah. The master's niece is riding her, Miss Penelope Finch.
Well, let's hope she has better luck than Anne did last year.
Oh, dear me, yes. Heard about that.
Yes. Well, what happens?
Well, I think it's a jolly pretty dress.
Thank you.
Oh, I hear you passed into the Royal Academy of Music. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Hello, Peter. It's nice to see you again.
Hello. I was just congratulating Vicky on getting into RAM.
I hear you studied music, too.
That's right, at Bonn University. I still play a bit, but not professionally. I'm in the city now, have been for the last 6 years.
And he's in the Auxiliary Air Force, too.
My goodness, what a lot you've managed to cram into your life.
Ah, well, I left Eden early, when I was 16.
I expect Grandpa will remember you. Well, he had a house there till last Christmas.
Yes, of course, Old Ashes. CLA.
Oh, Grandpa?
Yes, my dear.
Grandpa, do you remember Peter Cartland? He was at Eton.
I'm sure he won't. It was 10 years ago.
P.H. Cartland.
That's right, sir. It's up to you for history in the new schools.
Yes, you were, weren't you? Yeah.
Right. Well, dinner's ready, everybody. So if you'd like to go in, bring your glasses.
Come on, my dears. Now, Phyllis.
You managed the conversation well, Liz.
Oh, thank you, Granny.
Your mother will be proud of you when she gets back.
When she gets back, I shall have to find something to do with my life. We can't have two women running a house.
Very true.
I brought the coffee, miss.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Gates.
A very good dinner, Mrs. Gates.
Oh, thank you very much, milady. Not up to that French chef of Mrs. Cartland's, I don't suppose.
Every bit as good. And that chocolate souffle was delicious.
Oh. Gates says, will you want the car tomorrow morning for church, miss?
Oh, it depends if Lady Bourne's going. Are you, Granny?
Well, Croppy says I'm not, but I have every intention of doing so.
I'll tell you in the morning, Mrs. Gates.
Very good, miss.
Oh, Vicky will come and help you with washing up.
Oh, no need, miss. Nanny's been down already, and Peggy Chapman came in to give me a hand. It's all done.
She's a nice, willing woman. Liz, before she comes down, don't offer Phyllis any more to drink.
I know. She drank a lot of wine at supper, too.
I know it's very worrying. She won't listen to me. You don't think you could...
Oh, Granny, I don't think that's a good idea. The last time she was here, we had a terrible dust-up.
I know, I heard. Mr. Cartland, wasn't it?
You don't miss much, do you? Well, it wasn't him so much. It was someone I missed at a party in London. It really wasn't my fault. I thought he was a bit of a bounder, and he made a pass at me. Well, Phyllis was furious.
An actor?
No, a novelist.
Oh, I'm not enjoying myself very much this evening. And strictly between us, Liz, I cannot bear that Cartland woman.
I do think this is such a charming hall, Lady Bourne.
Do you? Arthur and Helen don't use the drawing room anymore.
Coffee, Mrs. Cartland.
Oh, please, black. Well, I don't think I'd use my drawing room if I had such a hall like this.
Oh, Phyllis, some coffee for you?
I don't want any, thank you.
It would do you good.
What do you mean, do me good?
Never mind.
Did you see her at church?
Here you are, Phyllis.
I said I don't want coffee.
Isn't it splendid news about Anne?
Isn't it wonderful? But when did you hear? We only got Helen's letter this morning.
Oh, Dr. Cropper told me before dinner. And Arthur and I were discussing it during dinner.
Yes, Helen's taking Anne for a short convalescence in the Black Forest. Says the child looks washed out after 3 months in the clinic.
Oh, it's hardly surprising, is it?
And then they'll come home. Oh, you can't imagine how we've all missed them.
Oh, I'm sure you have. I hardly met Mrs. Bourne, but, oh, I did think her such a delightful person.
Why don't you play to us, Vicky, dear?
Very well, Granny. What would you like?
What you were playing at tea time.
Oh, all right.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Vicky. I'll show you. Come on, move over.
You'll get Liz to bring you over to Layford, Lady Bourne. Do you know, I would love to show you all the alterations I've made.
I can't hear very well.
I'm sorry, but you're playing too loud. Granny can't hear a word.
The most awful headache.
Would you like me to ask her to stop? I'll tell you so. That is lovely, Miss Bourne. But I think your mother has a headache. Oh? Has she? I do hope you'll come over one day and try out our new Steinway. We've just bought it for Peter. He plays it really very beautifully.
I'm sure he does. Far better than I do on the poor old battered family Broadwood.
Phyllis.
But then, only very rich and very common people can afford Steinways. And grand hotels in Paris. Trips to Hamburg with other people's husbands.
How is she?
Nanny's with her.
I can't apologize enough. I don't know what came over my daughter. It must be the strain of living in London.
Oh, now, please, don't worry, Lady Bourne. It was probably all my fault. I wasn't very tactful.
No.
Now listen, may I make a suggestion? Cool. When the men come back from the dining room, let's all say Miss Bourne had a headache and went up to bed early.
Oh, good idea.
Very wise.
Please, don't be upset.
Indeed, yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Wasn't it good, though? She really did splendid.
Sorry if we lingered, Mother. Peter was telling us all about the Supermarine.
The what?
Oh, you remember that aeroplane one? It's the Schneider Trophy.
Oh,
yes. Oh, where's Phyllis?
She went upstairs to bed.
With a headache.
Oh, that's bad luck. Well, I do hope she's not sickening for something. Oh, perhaps as Crop is here, he might...
No, there's no need for that, Daddy.
No need at all. Nanny will give her a cachet fete.
Oh. Did I hear you playing just now?
Not me, that was Aunt Phyllis.
Oh. Banging it out a bit, wasn't she?
She usually plays awfully well.
Yes, so I've heard. Do you know something, Vicky? About your hands?
Oh dear, are they grubby?
They're the hands of a pianist.
Are they?
Well, what about a paper game? Huh?
Or charades.
Or dumb crambo.
All right, why not?
Pick sides, Daddy. You and Mrs. Cartland can be captains.
All right. Rosie, ladies first.
Right, I'll have Dr. Cropper.
All right, and I'll have Vicky.
I saw that.
Thank you.
It was a lovely evening. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much. See you at the point to point.
Yes, of course.
Excellent dinner. Thank you very much.
Good night,
Good night, Geoffrey.
Good night.
Give me a ring if you'd like me to come over and see your aunt tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Now, don't hesitate.
All right.
Good night, Arthur.
Oh, I'll send you that recipe for the chocolate souffle.
Ah, Liz, get your grandmother safely to bed.
Oh, Nanny's seeing to her. Phyllis is fast asleep.
Oh, good.
Thank you for a lovely evening, Daddy.
Oh, it's all
In
right.
spite of the...
Yes, not bad.
Yes, it was an excellent dinner, Liz. Well done.
Yes, indeed. First class.
Well, I'll tell Mrs. Gates you said so. I must say they stayed a bit late, though, didn't they? Vic, come on, we better go to bed. We've got to be up early in the morning.
Oh, yes, of course, Easter, early service. Well, night-night, everybody.
Night-night.
Good night.
Good night, my dears.
Well, what about a nightcap, Charles?
I won't say no. Arthur, there is something that...
Now, what is it?
Well, do you think I could have a word with you? Really, this is becoming a habit.
Can't you wait until the morning?
Well, I would rather tackle it now.
Hurry up in the bathroom, Vic.
Well, perhaps you'd care to step into my study.
Oh, dear.
Poor Aunt Phil.
Yeah, she'll feel awful in the morning, but Nanny gave her something to make her sleep.
Just as well. We were making rather a lot of noise down there. What do you think started her off?
I think it was Ambrose Fielding letting her down over spending Easter at his cottage in Cornwall. She was terribly upset about it.
What a stinker he is.
I don't think it's only Ambrose. You know, Croppy thinks that she may be heading for a nervous breakdown.
Well, Nanny says she needs a husband.
Nanny said that to you?
No, to Mrs. Gates. I was washing my bantam's eggs in the scullery and I overheard. Does she?
Need a husband? I don't know. Perhaps it's too late now.
But when she was young and after that chap she was in love with was killed in France, she must have met other young men she liked.
Presumably she didn't like any of them enough.
Oh, I bet the family found something wrong with them all. You know, not quite one of us, or a Catholic, never, or a doctor, and married.
Shut up, silly.
All the same, it's rather nice to know that we found the absolutely suitable young man. Well, whether he falls for you or for me, no one could possibly object to Peter Cartland now, could they?
No, of course not.
Peter Cartland? Surely not.
He left Eton early under a cloud when he was 16.
What sort of crime? Hey, was he expelled?
No, not technically. Vigors, his house tutor, hushed the matter up. He was fond of the boy, didn't want to have a scandal. So, young Cartland left and went to Bonn University to study German and music.
Oh, what was the trouble? I mean, was he caught climbing into his tutor after a night out in London? We used to do that.
Pity it wasn't something like that.
Well, Charles, what was it then?
Well, Arthur, it was in the summer of 1925. No, it may have been 1926. Anyway, one of those long, hot summers. Oh, no, of course it couldn't have been 1926. That was the general strike, wasn't it? No, it was...
Charles,
Yes?
Charles, does it matter what year it was?
No, I suppose not.
Just the facts, sir.
Well, I didn't get on very well with his house tutor, Vickers. In fact, there were very few subjects on which we saw eye to eye. But, as I understand, it was his dame who reported the incident. Apparently, pretty late one night, she overheard noises coming from Cartland's room. Voices and so on. Went in and found what I can only describe as gross indecency.
Good Lord. Charles, you sure about this?
Well, it was 10 years ago. I may have gone a little astray on the details, and as I say, I really didn't know Vickers very well. But the basic fact, the reason why young Cartland left early, no doubt about that.
So, the boy's a pansy, huh?
Well, I think you'd better warn Vicky.
What a chap. She wouldn't know what I was talking about.
Oh, no. Well, you could confide in Liz. She'd understand. Then Liz could talk to Vicky. Sorry, Arthur. I thought you ought to know before the girls got too involved.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. You're quite right to tell me. Thank you very much. If only Helen was here. Charles, I don't suppose you would...
Sorry. No. You're their father.
Well, I think perhaps tonight, you know. Just one more.
That's a very constructive suggestion. Arthur, there's one more thing.
What now?
Well, while you're about it, I think you'd better have a word with your sister.
Oh, Phyllis? Oh, Aunt Cedar.
Well, Alice told me before she went up to bed that Phyllis had had too much to drink and as a result was extremely rude to Mrs. Cartland and then rushed upstairs in hysterics.
Oh, no. Oh, my poor wretched family. Come on.
Here, let me give you a hand, Eileen. You've all these breakfasts to do.
Oh, that's not until 9:30, Nanny. But I could do with a hand.
Liz said you did a beautiful dinner last night.
Did she? Oh, Mrs. Cartland came down to the kitchen to congratulate me. Nice of her, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that son's good looking, I must say. All that money, too. You know, I think Miss Vicky's got an eye for him.
No, Eileen, none of your matchmaking. Vicky's only a child, whatever she may think. Yeah, maybe it'll stop her mooning over that German boy, though. It's Klaus this and Klaus that all day long.
Fred says that Hitler's going to start another war now.
Oh, my, I'll be glad when Mrs. Bourne and Anne get back home again. This is no time to be gallivanting about in Germany. Oh, somebody's left a cigarette case. The Mrs. Cartland, likely.
Oh, I say, just look at that. Oh, her initials in diamonds. He must have cost a fortune.
I'll give it to the commander when he gets back from early service.
Have both the girls gone with him?
No, just Liz. Vicky's still in her bed. They were blethering till all hours up in Liz's room.
But Miss Phyllis, I should think. That was quite a to-do, wasn't it?
Poor Phyllis. It's that rackety life she lives in London. All these actors and artists and late nights. If she could just find a nice man and settle down.
Those that try too hard don't get.
And that is very true. Now, that'll be a bit tidier for you.
Oh, yes, that'll have to do. Now, Nanny, will Miss Phyllis be wanting breakfast in bed, do you think?
She's got a sign on her door, do not disturb. But if she's not stirring by 10 o'clock, I'll just go in. She can't be feeling too blithe this morning, poor lassie.
No, I don't suppose so. Well, you let me know then if she wants anything, because I've got to get on with me breakfast, you see.
I'll do that, dear. Hey, what are you doing up and dressed?
Shh. I want to go without anyone seeing.
You're not leaving.
I can't possibly stay after last night.
Oh, your mother won't like it.
I've already been in to see her, and she agrees it's best I go. Oh, Nanny, I feel quite sick with shame. I don't know what came over me.
You just had a wee drop too much, that's what came over you.
I know, but I've written a note for my poor brother. Will you give it to him?
Where will you go?
I don't know. I just want to go away and think things over.
You can't go without a wee cup of tea.
I'll stop at a hotel somewhere and get breakfast. Bye, Nanny.
Oh, darling.
Don't look so worried. Be all right when I've sorted things out by myself. I'll go out the back way.
Oh.
The rector gets any deafer, he will have to retire.
I do hope not. I mean, they're very fond of him in the village, you know. They'd hate a new broom. Hello. Whose car is there?
It's Phyllis's. She's gone. She gave me this note for you. Oh, and Mrs. Cartland left this last night.
Oh, thank you so much, now. I'll tell her that you found it.
Breakfast in the dining room whenever you want.
Thank you, Nanny.
Thank you, Nanny.
Do go on, Charles. I'll join you in a minute.
Right, Arthur.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear.
Do you know what happened last night?
Yes, your grandfather told me. I thought your aunt was a bit edgy when she arrived. Any idea what it was about?
Every idea. Her current admirer in London is a conceited and tiresome novelist called Ambrose Fielding. They were going to spend Easter together at his cottage in Cornwall. When she turned up and said that she changed her mind, well, it was obvious what had happened.
He changed his, huh?
Exactly. Well, there's nothing we can do about it.
No. No, I was just wondering where she'd gone off to, you know. It says in the letter, staying with friends in the Cotswolds. That's pretty vague, isn't it? Oh, well, come on. Let's have some breakfast. Oh, sakes now. Who on earth can that be this time on a Sunday morning? Hello? Yes, Commander Bourne speaking. Oh, would you hold on for a moment, please? It's a...
Ask his name.
Who is that speaking? Mr. Fielding. That's that damn novelist.
Let me speak to him. We've met.
Yes, do.
Hello, Ambrose. It's Elizabeth Bourne here. No, I'm sorry. We've no idea where she's staying. She left this morning. How sickening for you. Yes, very disappointing. We're sorry we can't help you. Goodbye.
Well?
He wants her to join him in Cornwall, after all.
Oh, dear silly girl now. If she hadn't gone rushing off like that.
If you ask me, it's probably the best thing that could have happened. He sounded positively jealous. For the first time, he's not so certain of her, and that'll make him twice as keen.
I don't like the sound of him. He's pretty pleased with himself.
Oh, he's a horror. What if that's what Phyllis wants? Come on, Daddy, we must go in. Otherwise it'll be time to start church again before we know where we are. I suppose you do want to go to Matins as well.
Yes. Easter Sunday morning, you know. I am reading the lesson. Oh, by the way, after church, I want to have a very serious talk with you.
What about?
I'll tell you then. Come on, let's have some breakfast. We've got to have a little talk.
It isn't bad news from Freiburg, is it?
Oh, no, good Lord, no. No, something has cropped up.
Well, anything serious?
Yes. Oh, good Lord. You know, Liz, you've been a tremendous help over these past 2 months, you know. I don't think I could have managed without you.
Well, actually, I've really rather enjoyed it.
Well, when your mother comes back, you know, I expect you'll be thinking about carrying on with that medical career of yours.
Is that what you wanted to talk to me about, my plans?
No. It's about Vicky.
Well, what about Vicky?
My dear, is she still serious about that von Heinig boy?
Well, she was, but now I think she's rather smitten with Peter Cartland.
That's what I was afraid of.
Afraid of? But you made me change the plans so that she sat next to him at dinner last night.
Yes, yes, I did,
I
didn't I?
thought you wanted them to get off with each other.
I would have normally, dear, but... you see, the trouble is, I've learnt something about Peter which...
Which?
Yeah, I don't want to interfere in your lives, but Vicky is extremely young, and I don't think she would certainly know that...
Well, that what?
Oh, dear, how can I put this to you? That there are certain young men who no doubt may seem extremely charming in other ways, but they're not really attracted to women. In fact, they really prefer their own kind.
You mean pansies?
So you know.
Daddy, I was up at Oxford for 3 years. Well, they made us laugh, and they often gave the best parties. You're not saying that Peter...
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, no, I don't believe it. And Peter just isn't the type. One can usually tell. Are you absolutely sure?
I am. I want you to try and steer Vicky away from it. Mustn't get serious about it. Might make her very unhappy indeed.
Oh, yes, it would. All right, I'll try and talk to her. But it won't be easy. I don't think she knows a thing about it. Incidentally, who told you about Peter? Was it his seductive stepmother?
Now, Liz, we are not discussing Mrs. Cartland.
Sorry. As you're such bosom friends, I thought it wouldn't matter. Come in.
See, I remember to knock.
Ah, good girl.
Nanny said you wanted to see me.
Yes, I do. Have you cleaned your teeth yet?
Not yet, why?
Then have a choc.
Thank you. Was that Anne's letter?
Yes. You know, she's worried about Mummy. Well, you see, Mummy's miserable because she overheard Daddy ringing up Mrs. Cartland in Berlin when he was there. And then he left early. She thinks that there's something up.
No, you... Horrid. You must say something to Daddy, Liz. You must.
What can I say to my own father?
Oh, I know it's awkward, her being Peter's stepmother.
Peter.
Oh, that's all. I'll go back to bed. I'm sleepy.
No, not yet, Vic. Look, sit down. I've got to talk to you.
Have you?
It's about something else.
What?
It's about Peter.
What about Peter?
Well, I don't think that you should see him too often. Oh, heavens, this isn't easy. Well, it might make you very unhappy.
Because of his stepmother and Daddy, you mean?
No. Well, because you might fall in love with him.
Cool. What's wrong with that? He's not engaged to anyone else, is he?
Oh, far from it.
How do you mean, then? Oh, I know what it is. You're jealous. You just want Peter for yourself.
That's rubbish.
It's not rubbish. It's jolly attractive.
Look, Vic, don't be a fool. It's for quite another reason.
What reason?
Oh, you're too young. I can't tell you.
I'm not as young as all that. It's quite obvious what you're up to. I think you're a beast, Liz.
And I think you're a suspicious, uncooperative little...
Girls, what's all squabbling about? And you'd hurry down to the study, quick. Your mother and Anne are on the telephone to wish you a happy Easter.
Oh, come on, Vic.
Hey, the call got delayed.
She's fine. And Mr. Cartland's entering her for the point-to-point again next Saturday. Well, of course I'm going. For you? All right, 5 bob. Hello, Mummy. It's Mummy again.
Mummy, hello, it's Vicky again. Yes, after all that, I forgot to wish you a happy Easter. Yes, a fairly happy one. We played croquet and Grandpa won. Mummy, we miss you terribly. We miss you all the time.
Darling, I think I'd better take it now. Hello, dear. No, this call must be costing you a fortune. You must ring off. Yes, me too. Good night to you. Good night, Anne. It's nice to hear you're feeling better, dear. Now, here are the girls.
Oh, good night, Mummy. Good night, Anne. Night. See you soon.
All right, there we are. Thank you, dear.
Didn't Anne sing well?
Yes.
Won't it be marvellous they'll be home soon?
Yes, indeed it is. Oh, Lord, you know, this damn thing never stops ringing. Hello? Oh, hello, Rosie. Oh, yes, Nanny found it, you know. Yes, I got it safe and sound. When? Now? Yes, well, I'd be absolutely delighted, yes.
Well, what
do you think of that? Any excuse to get over here?
I think it's monstrous, and I shall tell him so. Come on, Vic, let's go to bed.
Do come along in.
Thank you.
We were dining with the Baileys, so as it was so near, we thought we'd come and collect it.
Oh, it's in my desk. I put it away for safety.
I hope we haven't kept you up.
Nope, not a bit of it. There we are.
Thank God, it was idiotic of me. Actually, Arthur, there is something else we'd like to discuss with you. Isn't there, darling?
Yes, there is.
Or is this something from the Admiral?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Oh, well, look, why don't we have a nightcap, sit down and talk about it?
I'd like one very much, thank you.
Well, it's not a subject for ladies, so I'll go and powder my nose and let Geoffrey tell you. No, sorry.
It concerns my son, Peter.
Oh, yeah?
Both Rosemary and I got the impression last night that your father-in-law was being rather cool with him. Now, we didn't discover until the journey home that, in fact, Mr. Ashley was a housemaster at Eton while Peter was there. Has he told you about this?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he had.
Why Peter had to leave early, etc., etc.
Yes, and it's the etc. that worries me. I don't mind telling you. See, apparently the boy was found one summer night.
Yes, there was an incident. But it concerned a girl called Ivy from the local hairdresser shop in the High Street. Peter describes us as being rather like Dolores Del Rio, high in the bust and sallow complexion. And they agreed to meet in Keats Lane and go for a midnight swim in Cuckoo Weir. Afterwards, they went back and they climbed through a bathroom window into Peter's room, where nature took its course.
Good Lord. Yes, so that's what he was.
And when things are hushed up, as this one was, very often the gossips get their facts wrong. And the whole of Eton was under the impression that Peter had been found in his bed with another boy, which apparently is not uncommon at that establishment.
Have you told him, darling?
Yes, I've told him.
Well, we must be off. Let poor Arthur get into bed.
Thank you for the drink.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you for my cigarette case. It's a great relief.
You know, that makes two of us. Come along, I'll see you to the door.
Thank you.
Liz, you see?
No, come in.
Darling, I thought I'd better tell you straight away. Your grandfather was entirely wrong about Peter.
There, what did I tell you?
You win. So, you can cancel that order about talking to Vicky. Good night.
But I've already warned her against him and she's furious with me.
Well, you better unwarn her, hadn't you? Good night.
sharp, A, C sharp, and E. Now, how much practice have you done this week?
It's awfully difficult in term time. I've got so much else to do.
Then you might as well give up the piano altogether. You'll never get anywhere by being half-hearted. Oh, Vicky, hello.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's all right, darling. We've nearly finished. Come and sit down. You look worn out. Oh, this is Celia Forbes. My niece, Miss Victoria Bourne. She's just passed into the Royal Academy of Music.
Gosh, I've heard about you.
Oh, goodness, what's my aunt been telling you?
You're going to be a concert pianist, aren't you?
Well, I'd like to be, but I'll probably never be good enough.
Vicky, you underrate yourself. We shall all be queuing for tickets one of these days.
How wonderful. You are lucky. I can't even play this silly old prelude.
Oh, but it's beautiful. It's one of my favourites. You see, it's all a matter of phrasing. I'm sorry, Aunt Phyllis.
Why don't you play it for us?
Oh, please do.
Go on.
All right.
I wish I could play like that.
It takes hard work, Celia. Now, off you go and practice this time.
Yes, I will.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Miss Bourne.
Bye-bye then.
Goodbye.
I'll see you next week. You'd better go and tidy up for tea, darling. Granny's coming.
Oh, no. Bang goes my afternoon practice, then.
I'm sorry, but she invited herself. She wants to talk to you about plans for your coming out.
That's all she ever does talk about these days.
Well, there's a lot to arrange if you're going to do the season properly while your mother's away. And Granny's going to bring you out, whether you like it or not.
But it's all so silly. Ascot, Queen Charlotte's, cocktail parties, and what I'm to wear to Lady Somebody or Other's dance.
I know, darling, but one has to do it.
Why?
Well, it's all part of growing up for a girl. Your parents and your grandmother want you to go to lots of dances and meet suitable young men.
Suitable for whom?
Young men of your own sort, Granny would call them.
I don't even know what my sort is. Oh, I know I'm going to hate it.
No, you won't. You'll enjoy it all once it starts. Liz and Anne did.
It was different for them. Mummy brought them out. But Granny's fussing round me like an old hen that's only got one chick.
You must expect her to be a bit excited, darling. After all, it's some time since she brought me out.
Did you enjoy it?
No, not exactly. But then things were much more formal in those days. When I was presented, we had to wear stiff white evening dresses and ostrich feathers in our hair. Imagine me walking down miles and miles of red carpet with those plumes on my head.
You must have felt like a circus horse.
Yes, I did rather. You're lucky. All you have to do is file past the king at a garden party, curtsy to him when your name's called out.
Well, that's bad enough. I shall probably trip over my feet or forget to curtsy or something.
Nonsense, Vicky. You just need a little more confidence in yourself. Other girls enjoy the season. Why shouldn't you?
Well, other girls aren't trying to study music at the same time. Look, if I've got to go to these parties and dances every night, how on earth will I find time to practice?
I know, darling, it is a problem. I'll do what I can.
I wish Mummy were here. She'd see my point of view.
Your parents are very keen for you to do the season. They don't want you too wrapped up in your music, you know.
Not much chance of that now. Oh, well. I'll get myself tidied up for tea.
Don't worry, darling. I'm sure you'll cope. And when you're finished, be an angel and do me some mustard and cress sandwiches, will you?
Now, Ascot, Phyllis has arranged for you to go on Gold Cup Day with her friends, the Sinclairs. Then there's the Eton and Harrow match at Lord's. Your father knows some people who've got a coach. Isn't that lucky? Oh, but before that, we have the Royal Academy's summer exhibition at Burlington House. Now, that
Mother,
would be...
darling, your tea's getting cold.
Oh, dear, it is. And then we've also got all the cocktail parties and dances to look forward to.
Not too many, I hope.
Why not?
But we don't want you to overdo it, Mother. If you're chaperoning Vicky to dances night after night, you'll be worn out before the season's over.
Nonsense. I shall enjoy it immensely. And you'll be able to do duty at some of them, too, Phyllis.
Yes, of course. More tea, Vicky?
Please, Aunt Phyllis.
Of course, the season's not what it was.
I seem to remember you saying that when I came out.
Well, it's very true now. Nobody can afford to give a big dance anymore. And since our king seems determined to break with tradition, poor Vicky won't even be able to be presented properly.
I don't mind, Granny, honestly.
That's because you don't know how it used to be. All the women lovely in white, and the men in uniforms with decorations.
Times have changed, Mother. Like it or not, we're in the age of swing now.
Yes, sirree.
What a horrible, horrible expression.
Sorry, Granny.
Well, I think the king is quite right.
Of course, dear. He's the king. I only hope he won't go too far, that's all.
Another watercress sandwich, Mother?
No, thank you, dear. But I should love another cup of your delicious tea before I go.
It reminds me I must go to Fortnum's. I promised Liz we'd take some lapsang with us when we go up.
What's the news from Larkfield?
Oh, nothing very much. Liz seems to be managing pretty well.
My new bantams still haven't hatched out yet. I hope they're all right.
I'm sure that Gates or Jim Tapper are keeping an eye on them for you, darling.
Oh, I did so want to see them on Saturday.
Talking of Saturday, Vicky, I thought you and I might have a little shopping trip in the morning before you set out for Larkfield.
But... Oh, all right, Granny.
I've seen a charming hat at Woollan's, and I asked them to put it on one side for me. It's pink.
Well, pink suits you, Granny.
Oh, no, darling. For you at the Royal Garden Party.
Yes, of course.
And you must have some new dresses.
But I've already got a lot of dresses.
You've grown out of half of them since you came back from Germany, Vicky. Granny is right. You do need new clothes.
Then that's all settled. I thought 2 white evening dresses, a pink one, a blue one, a pale yellow one, and perhaps a pale mauve one later on.
Gosh, what an awful lot. All for me.
We want you to enjoy your season, darling. Have fun while you're young. We never know what lies ahead. Well, I must be on my way.
Must you really?
Oh, yes, dear.
Do you want me to come down with you?
No, darling, I can manage. And you've got all the washing up to do.
Vicky can start on that while I get the lift.
Oh, all right.
Good night,
Goodbye,
my pet.
Granny.
I think that went off rather well.
Except that she's coming for me first thing on Saturday morning to take me shopping.
You'll have to do without your lie-ins once the season starts, my darling.
Oh, I'm quite used to getting up early. When I was in Germany, class used to call for me at 8 o'clock sometimes if we were going on a picnic.
Does he still write to you?
Oh, yes. When he has time.
Well, you'll be meeting lots of new people soon.
I'm not sure I want to.
You were a little bit in love with Klaus, weren't you?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. It was all so perfect at the time. And when I listen to Das Rheingold, I'm in love with Klaus. I don't really know.
I understand.
I loved his accent and his charm. Well, Germans are so much more romantic than Englishmen, aren't they?
Englishmen can be very charming. Take Peter Cartman, for instance.
Oh, he's different.
Have you seen anything of him recently?
Of course not. He's far too old for me.
Larkfield Manor? Oh, Mr. Cartland. Yes, sir, it's Gates. Oh, well, I'm afraid she's out, sir. She's gone into Albury in her car to do a bit of shopping. Nanny's upstairs if you'd... Oh, I see. Yes, all right, sir. At your flat. Righto, sir. I'll leave a message for her. Yes, Thank you, sir. Goodbye. Oh, here. Nanny, let me take that for you.
Oh, I'll manage it, thank you, Fred.
Ah, well, you shouldn't be carrying heavy trays up and downstairs, not at your age.
Oh, it's only my tea things. And I'm not as old as all that, you know.
Oh, young as you feel, eh, Nanny?
That's right. Ah, well, if you insist. Here.
Yeah, Eileen was saying that she reckons you were born the same year as Queen Victoria became a widow when Prince Albert died.
Did she?
Ah, well, that's what she said.
And how does Eileen think she knows when I was born?
Oh, well, you told her.
Me?
Ah, that's what she said. One evening in the kitchen about a couple of years ago.
Oh, well, it's none of your business, is it?
Eileen reckons that would make you 75. Is that right, Nanny?
Fred. Very rude, asking a lady her age. And who was that on the telephone?
Oh, young Mr. Cartland wanting to speak to Miss Liz. I've left a message for her for when she gets back from Holbury.
Well, you better leave it on that wee table or else she'll never see it.
Oh, very well.
While you're doing that, I'll just take back the tray. And if I should collapse under the weight of it, it's because I'm well over 150 years old. But don't tell anybody.
Hello, operator. Could you get me a London call, please? Yes, it's Sloane, 4321.
Cartland.
Peter, hello, it's Liz Bourne here. I believe you rang.
Hello, lady. Yes, indeed, I did. How's life at Larkfield?
Oh, it's all right, thank you.
Ah, well, the thing is, I wonder if you could get down to London on Friday. Chap in the office has given me 2 tickets for the ballet, a gala performance at Sadler's Wells. It should be rather good. I wonder if you find that amusing.
Oh, sounds lovely, but I can't. Both the parents are still away, so I'm stuck here.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize they were still both away. Pity.
Well, there must be someone else you can ask.
I'm not so sure about that. Most of the girls I know are tone deaf. Otherwise, I think it a bit silly seeing men prancing around in tights.
I love the ballet. Well, so does Anne. You can hardly describe Sister Vicky as tone deaf.
Oh, absolutely not. All you Bourne girls are very artistic. Unlike most of the Debs I had to contend with. So damn blasé.
Well, why don't you ask someone a little bit younger?
I say, that's a good idea. I mean, do you think your Sister Vicky would come up?
Oh, she might be free that evening.
Or put her on.
Oh, she's not here. She's in London, staying with my aunt.
Oh, that's even better.
Well, shall I give you the number?
Oh, yes, please. Hang on a tick. Right, far ahead.
It's Langham 2315.
2315. Thanks, Liz.
I'm off, darling. Have a good day.
I'm going to be late. Where are you going?
I'm going to change these at the Times Book Club.
Oh, that's grand. We can go as far as Wigmore Street together. I must dash.
Run and get the lift.
Miss, but I got a bit of news for Miss Vicky.
Oh, yes.
Well, it's her new bantams. They've hatched out at last.
Oh, I see. Good. Well, thank you, Gates.
Well, I thought she'd want to know. 4 chicks, fine and strong as can be. Will you be writing to Miss Vicky, perhaps?
Well, I wasn't going to. I suppose I can ring her up tonight and tell her.
Well, I'd be much obliged if you would, miss. I know they mean a lot to Miss Vicky, her bantams.
Yes, I know they do, Gates. All right, I'll let her know.
Hello, Langham 2315. Miss Bourne is out at present. Can I take a message? Oh, Liz, hello. How are you? What? 4 chicks? Oh, that's marvellous. Well, did you ring me up specially? Oh, I see. Gates said. is good news. All thriving. What? Peter Cartland? Gosh, no. There's been no one here. We've been out all day. Oh, no. The ballet? Oh, Liz. What shall I do? Oh, I can't ring him up. What would he think of me if I rang him up? I'm not being a baby. It's just that... Oh, thanks anyway. See you Saturday. Bye.
Hello, my darling. Who was that?
Liz.
Oh, what's the matter?
Apparently Peter Cartland tried to ring me. He wants to take me to the ballet, but I missed it and it's too late now.
Oh, why is it too late? Do you know his telephone number?
No, all I know is he lives in a flat in Chesham Street.
Oh, well, that should be easy. Now then, let's see. Car?
I couldn't possibly ring him up. I hardly know him.
Do you like him or not?
Of course I do. That's why I can't. He'll think I'm so pushing.
Cartland. PH. Is that him?
Yes.
Sloane 4321.
No, it's too forward of me.
Yes, I know what you mean. Perhaps you better not ring him. We'll forget all about Peter Cartland and have a nice cosy evening here, just the two of us. I'll get a cold chicken with some salad and we can listen to the wireless. There's a concert tonight from the Queen's Hall. Felix Weingartner conducting the London Symphony Orchestra.
That sounds marvellous, Aunt Phil.
And before you flood the house out, go and turn off that bath. Hello, Peter Cartland. Oh, hello, this is Phyllis Bourne speaking. Yes, Vicky's aunt. I don't want to interfere, but well, I wondered if I might have a word with you.
That fire going on right here? Oh dear, what is it? What is it, darling?
I'm sorry, Nanny, I do apologise. Were you taking that linen upstairs?
Yes, to the airing cupboard, but that can wait. I'm not moving a step till I know what's upset you.
It's nothing, really. It's just that everyone seems to be so happy and busy.
No.
So miserable.
No.
Oh, you must think I'm awful.
No.
And it's just that everyone seems to be so far away. Vicky down in London and Mummy and Anne and Daddy away in Germany. And I'm just left stuck here all the time. I'm just good old willing Liz who'll keep house.
No, that's not true. It's a great responsibility to be left to take charge in Larkfield when your parents are away.
Well, I wish they'd come back.
Yes, well, so do we all. But in the meantime, you're doing your bit just by being here.
Oh, Nanny, what does that amount to? Looking after Vicky's chicks and waiting for the others to come back at the weekend. Even Jim Tapper hasn't come near me for days. Gates keeps him hard at it in the garden all the time.
Well, there's a lot to do in the summertime, you know that.
Oh, Nanny, that's not the real reason. Gates wants to keep him away from me.
Well, why would that be?
Because Gates, and Mrs. Gates, don't want me to be too friendly with Jim. They don't want him to learn things from me. They think that I'll give him ideas above his station.
And you not think they may be right?
No. At least I don't know, Nanny. Perhaps. I just wish Daddy would come back.
Yes, well, the commander will be back soon. And he'll put everything to rights, you'll see. And in the meantime, you must be a big, strong girl and make him proud of you.
Yes. All right, Nanny, I'm sorry. I'll try.
That's more like it. Chin up, darling. And you can start by helping Nanny to check the linen. Not very exciting, but come on, upstairs with me, dear. Come along.
Yes, all right, Nanny.
I'm sure this isn't too much lipstick, Aunt Phil.
You look divine. Have a drop of sherry and stop worrying.
Thank you.
What a woman of the world you're becoming. Makeup, booze, Where will it all end? I'm supposed to be responsible for you.
I hope you know what you're doing, Aunt Phil.
As long as you know what you're doing, darling. I bet you don't even know what ballets you're going to see.
No idea.
Yeah? Oh, you are in luck. Les Patineurs, Checkmate and Façade. With Harold Turner, Helpman, Ashton, June Bray, Pamela May and Michael Soames. There he is. You going to answer it?
Oh, couldn't you, Aunt Phil? I'm a bit nervous.
Oh, darling, you'll have to grow up sometime.
Hello, Miss Bourne. I'm sorry I'm late.
I think you are.
Hello, Peter.
Hello, Vicky. I'm awfully sorry. I got held up at the office, a last-minute rush. Our firm's just underwritten a new issue. Shares, you know. Simply couldn't get away.
I quite understand. Would you care for a glass of sherry?
Oh, thank you, no, but I think we ought to go. Got a taxi waiting downstairs and the performance starts at 8:45.
Oh, then we must go, mustn't we?
Enjoy yourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you got your key, darling?
Yes, I have. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, Peter.
Thank you again, Peter, and good night.
Here, aren't you going to invite me in?
But I can't. Oh, wait up, my
Oh,
aunt.
come on, she won't mind. Just for a moment.
Peter, no, don't. No, that's torn it. She's bound to come out now.
All right, we can go on somewhere else.
This time of night.
Yes, we can go to a club I know. The Coconut Grove in Regent Street. Wonderful atmosphere, lots of little cosy tables in corners. And they've got a marvellous rumba band we can dance to.
Dance? Oh, I couldn't possibly. I don't know how to do the rumba.
Well, I can teach you. And we can have some more drinks. I've got half a bottle of gin there. At least I did have. Maybe the waiters are drunken now, but still, we can get some more.
Oh, Peter, it's 11:30. Look, I've got to go shopping with my grandmother tomorrow morning.
Oh, blast your grandmother.
Peter!
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm sure your grandmother's very nice. But we don't have to stay out too late. I know you'll enjoy it.
I've never been to a nightclub before.
Well, now's the time to start. That's if you want to come with me.
Of course I do.
Then come on.
Gates.
Morning, miss.
Did you want me?
Well, if you wouldn't mind, miss, it's just whether I should order more coke for the boiler today, miss, or wait until it gets a bit lower. Only the commander was saying before he went away not to let it get too low.
Yes, I see. Well, you better order it if you think we need it.
Oh, and then there's the big mower, miss. You see, the blades need sharpening and the engine needs an overhaul. Oh, it's coming up for summer, miss, and the lawns will need cutting twice a week. Oh, especially croaky lawn.
Yes, all right. We'll get them to send someone over from Cooper's.
Oh, well, perhaps if if you could telephone them yourself and ask them to send someone to fetch it, to, like, speak to them personally on the commander's behalf.
Yes, all right, Gates, I will. Anything else?
Well, just if you could let me have some more money for the Coleman, miss.
Well, I haven't got any money. The commander didn't leave me any. I suppose I'd better go to the bank this morning.
All right, well, miss.
I'll come and find you when I get back.
Well, I'll be in the garden, miss. Oh, and if you are going in, Mrs. Gates said that she could do with some more flour and a couple of pounds of back bacon.
Right, I'll write this down. Flour, 2 pounds of back bacon, ring, coopers, and money for Coleman. Right, I'll see to it, Gates.
Thank you, miss.
What have you got to say for yourself? Vicky, wake up. It's very late.
Gosh, I'm in London.
Yes, you are. And I've brought you some nice hot coffee.
I don't want any coffee.
Perhaps you'd prefer a cold sponge.
Oh, all right. I'm awake. Oh, I feel awful.
It serves you right. I heard 2 o'clock strike and you weren't back. Oh, do drink this. It's the only thing for a hangover.
I haven't got a hangover, honestly. I just feel tired.
I'm not surprised. If I'd known you were going to go gallivanting off to a nightclub and get plastered, I wouldn't have let you out with Peter Cartland in the first place.
I'm not a child anymore, and I didn't get plastered. I only had 2 glasses of champagne. Peter wouldn't let me have any more.
I'm glad to hear it. But you know, you should have asked me before going off. After all, I'm supposed to be responsible for you while you're staying with me.
Oh, I would have asked you, honestly, but when we got back, all the lights were out and we thought you were asleep.
Tucked up in bed with my hot water bottle, eh? Well, I was. You woke me up.
Oh, I'm awfully sorry, Aunt Phil, but... Oh, Peter said you wouldn't mind about the nightclub. He said you got a lot of pep for an aunt.
Sweet of him.
I say, you're not really cross with me, are you?
I just feel rather old suddenly, that's all.
I was a bit worried that you might mind, but it was all right for me to go, wasn't it? Oh, I knew it would be. See, Mummy and Daddy are rather old-fashioned.
Darling, I'm not going to read the riot act because you went to a perfectly respectable nightclub with a young man who's a friend of the family. I take it the nightclub was respectable.
Oh, yes, well, absolutely. Or at least I thought it was.
What does that mean?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, Vicky, come on.
Well, there were rather a lot of people kissing at the tables, and there was this girl. She had fishnet tights on and a bare back.
Oh, Vicky.
It was awfully funny. She came up to our table, and Peter had to buy me this cat and some chocolates just to get rid of her.
Goodness, if your father knew where you'd been, he'd skin you alive, and me.
You won't tell him, will you? No. The band was marvellous. They played Anything Goes 3 times. I think Peter slipped the band leader £1, actually. We danced lots of dreamy, slow foxtrots, and Peter taught me the karaoke. We ended up having kippers and scrambled eggs at 3:30 in the morning. I love nightclubs.
Well, it's a very good thing you had kippers and scrambled eggs, because you certainly haven't time for breakfast now.
Why not?
Because Granny will be here any moment to take you shopping. Had you forgotten?
Yes, I had. Oh, blast, Granny.
Vicky.
Blast shopping.
Victoria, if you are not up and dressed, in 1 minute I shall tell your father where you've been, and then there will be no more nightclubs for you. Ever.
Oh, I'm up. Out of the bed and into the bath and splash.
You haven't time for a bath, darling. Just splash your face with water and do your teeth, and buck up. You know I envy you.
Why?
Being taken shopping. It's so lovely to have clothes bought for one. What are your plans for the pussycat?
I thought I'd take it up to Larkfield with me. Give it to Liz. Might cheer her up a bit.
Well, as long as Charles doesn't mind sharing the back seat all the way with a triangular woolly cat.
Is Grandpa coming with us?
Yes, he rang up last night while you were out. We're to pick him up at Wyndham's Club at 3:15. Oh, I must put a call through to Liz and tell her.
I wish we were going to Larkfield straight away. Dying to see my bantams. And Liz, of course. I wonder if she's heard from Mummy and Daddy.
It'll all keep for another few hours, darling. Oh, do hurry up.
I don't want to go shopping with Granny one little bit.
We've been through all this, Vicky. If you are to do the season and go to dances, you must have new clothes. You can't be presented at court in your old grey skirt.
What about fishnet tights and a bare back? Bet the king wouldn't mind.
Now, that's lèse majesté. You'll get yourself beheaded. My
God, she's early. Oh, do hurry.
I'm trying to. I must find my shoes. Oh, help. Aunt Phyllis, will you keep her talking, please?
Well, I'll try, but you must get a move on.
Hello, Mother, darling.
Good morning, my dear. And where's Vicky?
Oh, she won't be a moment.
We shall have to be off at once. The shops get so dreadfully crowded. Besides, Wooland is keeping that pink hat, and I said we'd be in early.
Well, I'm sure she won't be long. Would you like to sit down for a moment? I'll make you some coffee.
No, dear, thank you. We really must go. Where is the child? Oh, and I've booked a table at Claridge's Causerie for 1:45. There won't be much time for shopping if Vicky doesn't hurry.
Vicky, darling, come on. Granny's waiting.
Hello, Grammy. Sorry, my shoe. Oh, must have left it there last night.
Last night?
Oh, Vicky went to the ballet last night, didn't you, darling? A gala evening at Sadler's Wells. And she'll tell you all about it. I know you want to be off now.
I'll get the lift.
Oh, and Mother, don't bring Vicky back too late. I promised Charles we'd pick him up at 2:45 sharp.
I'm always punctual, Phyllis. When I was young, it was considered important.
Yes, Mother. Well, enjoy your shopping, darling.
Thank you, dear.
Oh, a trunk call, please. Winchley 8. Yes, Herefordshire.
Who did you say you went out with?
Peter Cartland, you know those people over at Layford?
Oh, yes, that young man. I hope he behaved himself properly.
Of course he did.
You shouldn't stay up late at your age. You look tired out this morning.
That one's much too small, milady.
Oh, but my granddaughter's always taken a 10.
The young lady really requires the larger size now, milady.
Well, the sizes must have altered, that's all I can say.
No, I have, Granny. I think I'm a little bit bigger in the bust, milady.
Good heavens. We'll have to bring us some more things.
By all means, milady.
Come here, Vicky. I think your slip's torn, child. Yes. Oh, you'll have to get Nanny to mend that. What will the shop girl say?
Hello, Winchley 8. Oh, Phyllis, sorry, I've just run in from the garden.
Darling, I've been trying to get you for ages. I wanted to warn you that Charles is coming up with us this afternoon.
Oh, fine, I see. Well, I'll tell Nanny and Mrs. Gates. And we'll see the three of you this evening, then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is Vicky all right?
Oh, I should say so. She's having a whale of a time. Not only did she go to the ballet last night with Peter Cartland, but at this moment she's in Woollands with your grandmother trying on clothes. Isn't she lucky?
Very.
No, Granny.
What do you mean, no?
I don't like any of them.
It's not for you to decide. Now, what have we here?
This I thought for the presentation party, milady. If I may say so, it does look exquisitely charming. Quite a picture, don't you think?
It's too long.
We can put that right in no time, milady, if you'll permit me. Ouch!
Oh, stand still, Vicky.
There. Perfection.
Let me see it with the hat.
Quite finishes it off, don't you agree, milady?
Well, we'd better see if you can curtsy in it. Oh, no, dear, not like that. Now, pretend I'm the king and walk towards me. Gracefully. No, go back. Do it again. Now. Chest out, shoulders down. Oh, for goodness sake, walk properly.
I'm trying to.
Well, there's no need to snap, Vicky.
Sorry, Granny.
You know, that hat isn't right with it.
Should I perhaps send down for some more hats, Lady Bourne?
No. I think I'd rather see some more dresses.
I'm not sure that we have anything else. You've seen everything in the young lady's size that would be at all suitable.
Oh, well, then I shall have to have that. You can send it with the others, but on approval. Is there anything else left for us to see?
There is another cocktail dress that the young lady liked.
Run and slip into it, Vicky. And try to hurry. Time's going by.
It's hardly my fault, Granny.
I'm afraid my granddaughter is rather overwrought this morning. It's the excitement, you know.
I quite understand, milady.
Oh, blast it!
Vicky!
I'm stuck.
Pardon me.
Let me help you.
Well, don't pull it. Be careful with it. There. Now that really does look truly ravishing. Don't you think?
What do you think of this one, Granny?
I don't like it.
Well, I do. I think it's miles the nicest dress we've seen.
It doesn't suit you. Take it off at once.
Oh, please let me have it, Granny. You've chosen all the other clothes. Couldn't I have one dress that I like, please?
Are you telling me you don't like any of the dresses I've bought you?
Well, no, I didn't mean that, but this one's different. I want this one so badly.
No, Vicky. Take it off.
Let me assist you.
No.
You're not having that dress, and that's final.
Why?
Because I say so. Now, do as you're told. And hurry up, or we shall be late for lunch.
Give me one good reason why I can't have it.
I've already told you. It is not suitable, Victoria.
That means you think it's too old for me.
It means that I do not intend to see my granddaughter in public dressed as a little common shop girl.
The Countess of Farnborough bought her niece a similar dress only last week, milady. However, if it is not to your taste, I will endeavour to find something that is. Excuse me.
Priscilla Farnborough has no taste. That is not a dress for a young girl.
I'm not a young girl, so why should I dress like one? Why can't I have a grown-up, sophisticated dress for once? I'm not a child anymore.
Well, you're behaving like one, Vicky.
It just isn't fair. Why should I do what everybody else wants? Nobody thinks of me.
Now listen, child. If you're coming out this season, you've got to have some new clothes. Now, you are being rather ungrateful. Why do you think we're sitting here in this shop?
Because you want to. I don't. I don't want to be a credit to you or to anyone else. I just want to be left alone with my music. You're bossing me about just like the others because I'm the youngest. Well, I've had enough. I'm an adult now. And you can keep your beastly dresses.
How dare you?
I've managed to find... Oh, dear me. Is anything wrong?
Yes.
No. Where do you think you're going?
Away.
What are you thinking about?
I've had enough. I'm leaving.
No, Victoria, come back here. The child's upset, you know. Her parents are abroad.
What a shame.
I'm afraid we've been wasting your time.
Not at all, milady. It's been a pleasure. Will you be all right now?
Of course. I can find my own way home. Good day to you.
Muriel! Muriel! Pick up all these dresses and put them back on their hangers.
There, better now?
Yes, thank you.
I really see no point in worrying, Mother.
Vicky's old enough to know her way around.
But where could the child have got to?
Perhaps she went straight to the causerie.
Oh, no. Vicky would never have the courage to walk into Claridge's on her own.
No, I suppose not. Still, if we haven't heard anything in 10 minutes, I shall ring them up just in case.
Do you think we ought to tell the police?
Oh, not yet, Mother. That's ridiculous. Langham 2315, Phyllis Bourne speaking. Hello? Hello? It's someone in a telephone box. Hello? Oh, it's Peter Cartland.
Peter Cartland?
The people from Layford.
Oh, yes.
Hello, Peter. Well, if you wanted to speak to Vicky, I'm afraid she's not here at the moment. What? Oh, it's such a bad line. She's what? Oh, thank goodness. No, we weren't worried. But it is nice to know she's safe. I see. Oh, yes, please do that, Peter. Thank you. Bye. That was Peter Cartland,
So
Mother.
I gathered, but what about Vicky? Oh, for goodness sake, Phyllis, tell me, what is going on?
He was in a telephone box round the corner. Apparently Vicky turned up at his flat about half an hour ago.
Vicky went to a young man's rooms unaccompanied.
He said she was in a heck of a state. Well, he's calmed her down, and now he's taking her out for a bite of lunch. They're in a taxi outside.
Well, really, that is the last straw. Victoria behaves disgracefully to me, and instead of apologising and lunching with me at Claridge's, as we'd arranged, she goes jaunting off with a young man. Well, she ought to be ashamed of herself.
I'm sure she is, Mother. Peter's bringing her up here to apologise to you before they go to lunch.
Really, the young people nowadays think that they must have their own way the whole time.
It'll be them now. Ah, Peter.
Hello, Miss Bond.
Where's Vicky?
I'm very sorry about this, but she doesn't seem to want to come up.
Well, come in, do.
Thank you.
I think you know Peter Cartland, Mother.
Of course I do. Didn't he buy me some shares?
Hello, Lady Bourne. I'm frightfully sorry about all this, but Vicky's very upset.
Well, where is she?
Downstairs, waiting in the taxi. I tried to persuade her to come up, but she won't.
I have no wish to see her until she's ready to apologise to me.
Suppose I go and talk to her.
Oh, it's worth a try, Miss Bourne.
I won't be a moment. Please, help yourself to sherry.
Thank you. This is all my fault. I shouldn't have kept Vicky up so late last night. She needs her sleep. After all, she is quite young.
Too old for tantrums, Mr. Cartland. Victoria behaved disgracefully this morning.
Oh, yes, I know. She told me all about it.
I would never have dared speak to my grandmother like that. She's a rude, ungrateful girl.
I gathered from Liz that Vicky was the quiet member of the family. You know, wrapped up in her music and all that. Funny how wrong one can be.
Oh, don't misunderstand me, Mr. Cartland. Vicky's a sweet child, really.
She was just a bit tired this morning and lost her temper. Is that it?
Well, yes, possibly. If you're going to try and talk me round, Mr. Cartland, you will need a glass of sherry.
Oh, well, thank you. Shall I get it?
Yes, please do. And you might give me another drop of brandy.
Certainly.
I've had a very trying morning.
I rather gather from Vicky that she's, finding life a bit of a strain at the moment.
Well, I really don't see why. The season hasn't even begun yet.
Oh. Well, I was actually thinking more of her music.
Oh, yes. Well, it'll do her good to go to a few dances and meet some nice people. It'll take her out of herself.
Yes, and she'll still have plenty of time for her music, I expect.
Naturally, that's most important.
There. I told Vicky she had nothing to worry about.
Really, Mr. Cartland.
Mother.
You are...
Vicky has something to say to you.
Oh, look, shall I go into the other room?
It's all right, Peter. I'm very sorry about being rude to you in the shop, Granny.
That's quite all right, Vicky. I suggest we forget all about it and go and have our lunch at the grocery. We can't let a thing like that upset our day.
Thank you, Granny. But
No, Vicky, we can have a lunch another time. You go off with your grandmother and enjoy yourself.
Well, I suggest that we go and tidy ourselves up, Vicky, and then get off to Claridge's.
Yes, Granny.
You can use the looking glass in my room, Mother.
Thank you, dear.
What a morning.
Yes. Well, I better go and settle with the taxi.
No, I did it.
But that was mine.
Well, she is my niece, and I'm very grateful to you for looking after her this morning.
Not at all. That's the least I could do. I still feel partly responsible.
You were very kind to her. Thank you. Is there anything I can offer you? Some more sherry, perhaps?
Oh, no, thanks, sir. I better go and ring and cancel the table I booked.
Oh, what a shame. Can I cook you an omelette here instead?
Well, thank you very much.
It's no trouble.
Oh, why don't we make use of the table? I mean, at least if you don't mind going with somebody who's a bit... Well, what I mean is somebody who's a...
Of your age? Oh, not at all. You see, I've been told I have quite a lot of pep for an aunt.
Oh, Lord. Yes.
Come on.
Well, I better go and grab another taxi then.
Yes, and perhaps we can share it with Mother and Vicky part of the way. I'll pop into the bedroom and tell her.
Right then.
I'm going to have lunch, yeah. Come on, perhaps you'd like to share the taxi on the way to Claridge?
No, thank you, dear. We wouldn't share your taxi. We're not going your way. Oh, there you are, Vicky. Now, come along. And if we hurry, we shall just have time to stop off at Woollan's and buy that little pink hat.
Oh, Liz! Oh, I've been looking all over for you.
I'm just going for a bathe in the river, Nanny. It's so hot.
Oh, but Mrs. Gates was hoping for some help in the kitchen.
Well, whatever for? She can manage, surely.
But there's a fair wee bit to do with 3 extra for dinner.
3 extra?
Yes, your grandpa's coming down with Phyllis and Vicky. Now, you see, you've forgotten all about it. I was sure you had.
Oh, I thought they were arriving late tonight.
Not according to Mrs. Gates. Phyllis phoned this afternoon and said they'd be here for 7 o'clock.
Oh, hell.
Elizabeth Bourne. If you hadn't grown up, I'd make you wash your mouth out with soap.
I'm sorry, Nanny. I'm just so tired.
Oh, I know, darling. Here, this is addressed to you. You better open it.
Oh. With the Daddy saying which day to expect him. Oh, no, that's the limit.
What is it, dear?
He's arriving this evening.
Oh, mercy me, that's 4 extra now.
He's playing lands at Croydon Aerodrome this afternoon and he's catching the 4:15. Well, he might have given me a bit more notice.
5 for dinner, all told.
Oh, I hope Mrs. Gates has enough.
Away you and have your bathe. I'll go and warm Mrs.
No,
Gates.
Nanny, I'll go. Oh, it's 7 o'clock. There's no time for a bathe now. I better go and change. Oh, well, there's no time to change either. I'll go and tell Mrs. Gates.
Elizabeth, you can't go into the kitchen dressed like that.
Of course I can.
Oh, whatever, next.
I've come to help you, Mrs. Gates, and to say that we'll be 5 now. The commander's getting back in time for dinner. I've just had a wire.
Oh,
what can I do?
5 now, is it? Oh, dear. Well, let me see. I've got the potatoes on, and I was going to give them cold consomme and veal chops. Oh, good job I got those chops in.
Well, what about a pudding?
I was going to make some pastry and do a pie.
Oh, well, I'll make the pie, Mrs. Gates, and we can use the apple left over from yesterday.
Oh, very well, miss. If you're sure you can manage.
Of course I can. I really rather enjoy making pastry.
Well, put everything ready, I think.
Well, come on, Mrs. Gates. We must get on or we'll be late.
Oh, yeah, I'll go and lay up in the dining room, miss.
Oh, I should have weighed that. Oh, the scales. Oh, and the butter. Where's the butter? Oh, who's that? Mrs. Gates, it's the front door. Mrs. Gates, can I see who it is? Oh,
Gwilym Meredith Jones.
I'm sorry, who?
Gwilym Meredith Jones, that's me.
Oh, I see.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Is the owner of the house in by any chance?
Oh, do you mean Commander Bourne?
Yes, I suppose I do. He's the chap with all the maps, isn't he?
Is he?
Well, so the rector told me. He said, go to Larkfield Manor. Commander Bourne has all these old maps and documents locked up in a little room. May I speak to him, please?
Well, you could if he were here, but he isn't. Not at the moment. Would you like to speak to me? I'm Elizabeth. Oh, do come in.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth.
I'm sorry. I'm not being very helpful, am I?
Oh, that's all right.
Well, it's the heat.
It is hot, isn't it?
Yes, I can't seem to think properly today. I'm all at 6s and 7s. Well, you see, my father's arriving back from Germany at any moment, and I wasn't expecting him.
Oh, dear.
And then my sister and my aunt and my grandfather, they're all arriving at any moment, and nothing's ready. Well, that's why I'm dressed like this.
Oh, I see.
I was going for a bathe in the river, and then I didn't get time. Well, do sit down. My father is Commander Bourne.
Oh, I see.
And I'm Elizabeth Bourne. Didn't I say that?
Well, no, not exactly. Not all of it. Only Elizabeth, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Perhaps we'd better start again.
Yes.
You are Miss Elizabeth Bourne, I believe.
Yes, how do you do?
How do you do? You are the daughter of Commander Bourne, who lives at Larkfield Manor, which is, where I am now standing.
Yes, that's right. You are. I mean, I am, it is, and you are. How do you do?
How do you do?
Would you like a drink or something?
Oh, no, don't trouble.
Well, at least sit down again.
Oh, very well.
Have you come far?
Aberystwyth.
Aberystwyth?
It's not very far. On a bicycle.
On a bicycle?
Well, I had to, you see, because of some research I'm doing.
Oh, really? Well, what sort of research?
Owen Glendower. Do you know about Owen Glendower?
Oh, wasn't he a famous Welsh chief?
Most famous. Descended from the last real Prince of Wales, Llywelyn. And I'm his direct descendant.
Oh, are you?
Yes, that's why I'm called Meredith, after Owen Glendower's son. Though that doesn't make much sense, does it? Should have been Owen, or Glendower, or even both. Gwilym Owen Glendower Meredith Jones. Sounds nice, doesn't it?
Well, it's a bit of a mouthful.
Yes, I suppose it is. Well, anyway, this research, I'm acting on a sort of hunch, actually. The records are very vague about Owen's later life, but we know a lot about his beginnings and the battles he fought against you English.
I thought he was on our side.
Well, he was at first, till some rotten egg of an English lord stole all his lands and wouldn't give them back. That's when he turned and fought against the English. A lot of very bloody battles with Owen winning all the time. They even crowned him Prince of Wales at Machynlleth.
Where?
Machynlleth. It's a little place in West Wales, up the River Dyfi from Aberdyfi. Do you know Aberdyfi?
No. Well, I go to Wales quite often to visit a friend of mine, but I don't know Aberdyfi.
Oh, well, it's quite near Aberystwyth. Well, anyway, to cut a long story short, after Owen had been winning for all these years, the tide turned against him.
Oh, you mean he started to lose?
That's right. And the last part of his life is shrouded in mystery. He might have died at the house of his daughter, who'd married this English nobleman who'd been a prisoner of Glendower's and then became an ally, Edmund Mortimer, Earl of March. Well, he's supposed to have had an estate somewhere in these parts.
Well, that's why you've come all this way. You're an historian.
Lecturer in history and archaeology at Aberystwyth University.
Oh, I see. But I still don't understand how we can help you.
Oh, didn't I say? Well, if Owen died round here, I want to find the exact place, all the details about him and any descendants of a Hereford branch of the family for my mother and father. They've gone all broody, see, in their old age and want a family tree. So I said I'd do it for them at the same time as the research on Glendower for the university.
Oh, now I'm beginning to understand.
I called at the museum at Halbury, but they didn't have any local documents that I didn't already know about. So I went to the rector at Winchley, and he suggested I visit Commander Bourne, whose family, he said, had lived in these parts for over a century.
Oh, yes, we have. But my father knows nothing about history, or very little. Oh, how stupid of me, of course. My great-grandfather, Samuel Bourne, he was a famous historian and scholar.
Was he now?
Yes. And because he was so terribly keen on old documents and things, he had this special room set aside for them. Oh, it's next door to the kitchen, and we call it the muniment room. It's absolutely stuffed full of old parchments and records and maps and things. It's all terribly historical. But it's kept locked up now.
Is it, by Jove? Do you think your father would allow me to examine the contents of that little room?
Oh, yes, I'm sure he would. Mind you, I don't think he's set foot in there for years. That sort of thing just doesn't interest him.
Oh, it interests me very much. Do you think he'll be long?
Oh, not long now, no. Oh, no.
What's the matter?
I was making a pie. I'd forgotten all about it.
Will it be burnt all black then?
No, I haven't even put it in the oven yet. I mean, I haven't even made it. Oh, Mrs. Gates, look, I've got a visitor. Do you think you could take over the pastry?
Very good, Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's all right.
I do feel I'm taking up a lot of your time.
Oh, that's all right. It gives me a chance to rest, actually. I say, do have a glass of sherry. I'm going to.
Are you? Oh, well, that'd be nice. Sorry about that. Not done to wear bicycle clips in the house, is it?
It doesn't matter. Are you staying nearby?
Well, no, actually.
You're not cycling back to Aberystwyth tonight, are you?
Well, I don't want to, but I couldn't get a room anywhere. I called every hotel in Halbury, not a corner anywhere.
Oh, did you try the load of hay in Winchley?
Called on them, too. They don't go in for accommodation.
Oh, well, that settles it then.
Settles it?
You can stay the night with us.
Oh, no, I couldn't possibly.
Why couldn't you possibly? There's plenty of room.
Well, I couldn't impose on you like that.
It wouldn't be imposing. You can have my sister's room. She's away in Germany.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
She wouldn't mind, your sister?
Oh, heavens no. She'd be delighted.
Well, you're very kind.
You'll stay?
Yes.
Good.
Oh, what about the rest of your family?
Oh, they'd be delighted too. Anyway, I'm sort of in charge while my mother's away.
Oh, I see.
Well, actually, it would be rather a good thing if you did stay, because it would make the numbers even at dinner.
Well, put like that.
You must wonder why I'm dressed like this.
You told me. I passed the river. Very beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's lovely, and it's lovely to swim in. Well, you must be hot. I mean, after your long cycle ride.
Well, yes, I am a bit.
Or perhaps you'd like a bathe, to cool you down.
Well, I prefer a bath.
Oh, yes, of course.
More refreshing.
Yes, quite. Well, I'll show you to your room, then.
Oh.
And the bath. You can have my father's, as he's not home yet.
Righty-ho.
Oh, is that all you got?
Have to travel light on a cycle. What time's your family due?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, look, will you excuse me for a second? I must tell Mrs. Gates. I won't be a minute. Help us up to another glass of sherry. Gates, how are you getting on? I'm sorry I had to abandon the pastry, but I couldn't help it.
It's all right, Miss Elizabeth. I finished it off, popped it in the oven.
Oh, you have? Oh, good. Because we're going to be 6 now.
Hey? Somebody else come, have they?
Yes, a Welsh gentleman, a professor.
That's nice.
And he'll be staying the night.
Oh.
He can have Anne's room.
Well, you'd better let Nanny know about that, miss.
Oh, yes, I shall. Well, actually, it'll be rather a good thing if he does stay, because it'll make the numbers even at dinner.
Oh, yes, well, let me see, I've got enough potatoes. It was a good job I got those veal chops in. I've got fruit pie for pudding. Only thing I'm short of is green vegetables. And it's Jim's day off.
Oh, well, Mrs. Gates, I'll run out to the kitchen garden and get some spinach.
Well, I wish you would, Miss Elizabeth. Thank you very much, because that cooks nice and quick.
Yes, well, let's hope they didn't arrive just yet.
It's you, Nanny.
Yes, it's me. All on your own, you know, eh?
At the moment, yes.
Where's your wee kitchen maid?
Miss Elizabeth. Oh, she's gone down to the kitchen garden to get me some spinach.
Oh.
Well, hardly be enough for 6, you know.
And what are you giving them to eat?
Veal chops and apple pie.
Oh, well, that should be... Did you say 6?
Yes, Nanny, I did. The Commander, Miss Bourne, Mr. Ashley, the 2 girls, and the Welsh gentleman.
The what?
A Welsh professor. Welsh. Just arrived to stay the night.
Nobody said anything to me. And when did he arrive, may I ask?
I don't know anything about it. All I know is Miss Elizabeth came in here just now and told me there was a Welsh professor arrived to stay the night.
Maybe somebody she met with her friend Jonty and Brick. But why did she not say, though?
Perhaps the gentleman arrived unexpectedly.
And where's he now?
In the hall, I suppose.
And where's he going to sleep?
In Miss Anne's room.
Eh?
Oh, I know. I told her she'd better see you first.
Well, she hasn't seen me and the bed's not made up.
All I know is I am to cook dinner for 6, so I suppose you're expected to...
Get Miss Anne's room ready. Well, we'll see about that.
Good evening.
Good evening. I understand you're Miss Elizabeth's friend, and you've been invited to spend the night here. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
I'll be seeing to your room.
Thank you.
If you're implying, Charles, that I drive too fast...
Well, you do rather, Aunt Phil.
Rubbish! You both said you wanted to be up here as quickly as possible.
Oh, did we? Oh, Vicky, we should have kept our mouths shut, shouldn't we?
Well, there's always the train.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I startle you?
What?
Oh, you did rather.
I'm very sorry.
Have we met?
No, the lady of the house said I might wait in the hall.
Oh, you must mean Elizabeth.
Yes, that's right, Elizabeth.
Oh, well, good evening to you.
You're Welsh, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, well, I had a Welsh boy in my house at Eton, Win something or other. Are you Win something or other?
Well, I'm sure all Welsh people aren't Win something or other, Grandpa.
Oh, yes, they are, unless they're something Jones.
Well, I'm something Jones.
Well, there you are, Vicky. Splendid.
Have you come for anything special?
I'm hoping to see Commander Bourne.
Do you know him?
Not yet.
Oh. Well, may we know your name? I mean, what sort of Jones is it?
Gwilym Meredith Jones.
Oh, really? Well, that's nice and Welsh, isn't it?
Meredith Jones. Are you by any chance related to the Maddock Merediths of Meredith Hall near Winchley?
No, I'm not.
Oh, well, never mind. I'm the Commander's sister. This is Mr. Charles Ashley and my niece, Victoria.
Hello.
How do you do?
Well, if you've come to see Daddy, you won't be able to see him because he's not here.
The Commander's in Germany at the moment. We expect him back either tonight or tomorrow. We're just not sure which day.
It's tonight.
I beg your pardon?
It's tonight, 4:15 train from Paddington.
How do you know?
Elizabeth told me. The commander will be returning this evening in time for dinner.
Oh, good. That's marvellous.
Yes. Will he? Really? Well, perhaps Mr. Meredith Jones would care for a drink. What's the matter, Vicky?
He's got a drink.
Oh, has he? Well, I haven't. What about it, Phyllis?
Good idea. Sherry?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Well, I hope you all had a good journey.
Very hot.
Very fast.
Is that your bicycle outside?
Yes, it is.
Have you come far on it?
Aberystwyth.
What in this heat?
Good heavens. I couldn't ride a bicycle from the front door to the end of the drive without feeling utterly exhausted.
Oh, I'm used to it. Cycle everywhere.
Ah. Well, I wonder where Elizabeth is.
Oh, she's in the kitchen. Something about a pie.
Oh.
In a bit of a flap she was. Worried about not getting the dinner ready on time.
Oh.
I'm sure she won't be long.
No.
Oh, I better go and see if I can give her a hand. Oh, Liz, there you are.
Good heavens, you've all arrived. I was getting vegetables.
We certainly have arrived. I hope you don't all want us to go away again.
Oh, Grandpa, of course not.
Well, I'm glad of that because I really couldn't stand another drive.
Good evening, Liz.
Oh, Phyllis, how lovely to see you.
Gather you've met Mr. Meredith Jones.
Oh, Professor Phyllis at Aberystwyth University, isn't it?
Is it? Really? Well, why didn't you say?
Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. I should have been here to introduce you.
That's all right, Liz.
Oh, well, we all identified ourselves eventually.
Oh, and Daddy's coming too.
Yes.
So we've been informed.
Well, I was so busy in the kitchen.
Liz, you're okay.
Shh. I was going for a bathe in the river. I didn't get time to change.
Hardly correct attire for receiving visitors. I was up in your part of Wales once. I drove up for the Eisteddfod with Ivan Novello's mother. Do you know Dame Clara?
No, actually.
She explained to me all about the bards and the druids and so on. I'm sure you sing. All the Welsh sing, don't they?
Just a little, you know.
Good. I play the piano. We must get together and have some music.
Well, Professor Jones won't be able to if he's going back to Aberystwyth tonight.
Oh, but he isn't. He's staying the night with us. He can have Anne's room.
Oh, well, that's splendid. I'm very glad to hear it, Professor. Oh, dearie me. What was it, Jones?
Use my nickname. It's easier. Jones the Stones.
The Stones?
He's an archaeologist.
Jones the Stones. Oh, Liz, darling, I'm a bit hot and sticky, so I think I'll go and have my bath. Unless you want it first, Charles.
No, thank you, Phyllis. You go on. I'll just stay here and recover from that drive.
Oh, Grandpa, you're safely home now. All in one, please.
Just.
Oh, well, I better go and see about my bantams. Excuse me.
Extraordinary hobby for a girl of 18 with musical talent.
Oh, dinner at 8:15, Phil, all right?
Right.
Well, I'll show you to your room, Professor, if you care to follow me.
Thank you. You call me Gwilym.
Yes, all right, Gwilym. Oh, by the way, we usually dress for dinner.
Oh, do you? Well, I've got another old shirt, different colour.
Yes, well, that'll do. I'll lend you one of Daddy's ties. Well, your room's round to the left, and the bathroom's next door to it.
Oh, it's all right. I'll find my own way.
Well, I'll leave you then.
Yes.
Dinner at 8:15.
Right, you.
Oh, Liz,
Back again, Mrs. Gates. Now, what next?
Oh, that's all there is, miss. There's hardly anything left to do. It's all over now. Miss Elizabeth, why don't you go and have that swim? I mean, it's only 7:15. Freshen you up a bit.
Oh, it would be nice.
Well, run along then.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Gates. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Enjoy your bathe, miss.
No, I'll take the bag, Dave. You put the car away. Thank you.
Well, there you are, Arthur.
Oh, hello, Charles. Yeah, what's left of me?
Ah.
Oh, dear. I don't know what's happened to the old GWI, you know. Came down in one of those long carriages with an aisle down the middle. Oh, absolutely packed with humanity.
Oh, I do hate the smell of orange peel, don't you?
Yeah. Smell of what?
In the carriages. It's so sordid.
Oh, yes, in train. Well, I suppose you came up with Phyllis by car, did you?
I did.
Where is everybody?
Well, getting ready for dinner. Well, how are Helen and Anne?
Oh, they're getting on very well indeed. Hey, can I top you up?
No, thanks. Oh, that was quick.
Yeah, what I could do with is a good hot bath. Charles, do you know what?
What, Arthur?
There's a chap in my bathroom.
Oh? What's he doing?
Singing. In a foreign language.
I'm sure I shall find lots of interesting facts among your documents.
Yes, I'll leave a key on the table for you. Start first thing in the morning. Unless, of course, you'd care to rush in there now.
It's too late, Arthur. Besides, we're going to have a concert.
Oh, are we? Oh, that's splendid. A little music after dinner is just the thing, isn't it, Liz?
What? Yes.
Professor, may we call you Gwilym?
Please do.
And what about your song?
Oh, I'm sure Gwilym doesn't want to sing.
Nonsense! He loves to sing.
So we gathered.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I always sing in my bath. It's a sort of reflex action.
Please, don't apologise.
It was a lovely song.
I thought I recognised it. What was it?
David ap Carreg Gwyn.
I'm sorry?
David of the White Rock.
Oh, yes, I do know it. It's a lament, isn't it?
That's right.
It goes like this.
That's right. You do play well, Miss Bourne.
Thank you. Don't mind a little music, do you, Arthur?
No, not in the least. So long as you don't expect me to join in.
Are you going to sing it in Welsh?
Oh, I think so. The English words are terrible.
That's why it's a lament, I suppose.
Oh, Vicky.
Was that key all right for you,
Yes, that's fine. Ready when you are, Miss Bourne.
All right.
Are
City of King Maru, right on our knee. Oh, du Hanoi I garai vatant, te wach benedictio vanguelu
What a lovely, sad song.
Marvellous. You have a lovely voice.
Oh, well, that was charming. Thank you very much. Wasn't that charming, Arthur?
Yeah, splendid.
I understand you're doing a paper on Owen Glendower.
That's right.
The professor's writing a novel.
Well, not a novel, an historical biography, actually.
Oh, really? Well, that is interesting. Isn't that interesting, Arthur?
We'll all buy a copy of it, won't we, Liz, and give it to people for Christmas.
Oh, good idea. And you could sign them, could you?
Well, I think that could be arranged.
I tell thee, he durst as well have met the devil alone
Grandpa's quoting something.
as Owen Glendower for an enemy. Shakespeare, Henry IV, Part 1.
Act 1, Scene 3, King Henry to Hotspur.
Right.
What clever, both of you.
Well, you're, I believe, a descendant of Owen Glendower.
Well, yes, actually.
Well.
And are you fierce like he was?
Oh, no, far from it. Owen Glendower was a great soldier, a man who loved war.
And you don't?
No, I detest the very idea of it. I don't know what I'd do if there were ever another war.
Well, you don't approve of fighting wars, then?
No, I do not.
I don't think anyone does.
Suppose someone attacked your country. Surely you'd have to fight to defend your wife and your children.
Well, I hope I'm never put to the test.
Professor Jones, tell me, how do you expect your country or your family to survive if you're not prepared to fight for them?
I think surely that civilized man has learned enough by now to realize that the sensible course would be to get together and talk about their grievances instead of rushing off to kill each other. Stay alive and talk. That's my motto.
Yes, but surely you are assuming that everyone wants peace.
Well, of course they do.
No, I disagree with you. Now, you take Napoleon, any of the great dictators of the past.
But that's just it. It is the past. Surely man is more advanced now. We are more civilized. We have the League of Nations. We've moved on since the Great War.
Oh, have we? I wonder.
War is a wicked waste of life and armaments a wicked waste of money.
Now, that is the view of the Labour Party, isn't it?
And mine, too.
And of other people, too, Arthur.
Oh, no, come on, Charles. I surely as you as a housemaster will agree that only a show of strength will stop a bully. Now, your aggressor can only be stopped by strength.
History has always shown that any country that devotes itself to the manufacture of arms will always use them in the end.
Oh, then I disagree with you.
It's a sin to manufacture tanks when there isn't enough money to spend on food for the people.
Oh, my dear fellow, people will always be going hungry.
Is that any reason to continue letting the people go hungry? War is for children. Surely it's time we grew up.
Well, in my opinion, it's a damn sight better to be safe with arms than sorry without them.
Never since the beginning of time have weapons prevented war. On the contrary, they have generally made wars more certain.
Would anyone like any more coffee?
Clear the slums, educate the people. That's what we need, isn't it, Mr. Ashley? Better housing, more education.
Yes, I agree with you.
If people were properly educated, they'd soon realize the futility of war.
That is absolute nonsense, and you know it.
I know nothing of the sort.
Good heavens, if people go on talking like that, it'll be the end of this country as we know it.
I beg your pardon?
I said it will be the end of this country as we know it. If people like you are prepared to sit about and look on, while maniacs like Hitler and Mussolini take over the world. Yes, and that includes our island home. Well, that may be your opinion, Professor, but it is certainly not mine. If you would excuse me, I have some work to do in my study.
Oh, I do hate all this talk of war. It's so boring. Let's have some more music. Vicky, what about our duet?
Oh, do you mind? I don't really know it well enough.
All right, it doesn't matter.
Well, if you'll excuse me, old chap, I think I'll make tracks for my bed.
But, Grandpa, it's so early.
Yes, I know it is, but, this weather's got me down
Why,
a
don't
bit.
you feel well?
Oh, I have a slight headache, nothing that an early night won't cure. Don't worry about your father, he'll be all right tomorrow. Good night, Liz. Good night, young man.
Good night, sir.
We'll have another talk tomorrow.
I think I'll come up too, Grandpa. I'm fagged out.
Yeah.
Unless you want me to help you with the dishes, Liz.
What? No, I'll do them.
Well, good night, then.
Good night.
No, Vicky.
Night, Phyllis. Now, Vicky, what about tomorrow afternoon?
Can I offer you a drink or something?
No, I don't think so. I think I'll turn in too, if you don't mind. I'd like to make an early start on the papers.
Yes, right.
That's very pretty, Miss Bourne.
Thank you.
So what? I don't care if you are my father. It was damn rude.
Now, calm down, Liz. You're getting hysterical.
I am not hysterical. I'm angry. I've never been so humiliated in all my life.
I'm sorry if you feel like that. Because all I want to know is what on earth got into your head to ask that wretched man to stay in the first place.
He is not a wretched man.
All right, Liz. Now, I don't want to play the heavy father, but I insist that you do not invite perfect strangers to spend the night without asking my permission.
How could I ask your permission? You weren't here. Besides, William's different.
How do you know? You never met him before? Well, there you are, you see. You can't answer that, can you?
Look, William's all right.
Now, Elizabeth, I come home, worn out with travelling. I'm looking forward to a little peace and quiet in my own home. What do I find? Why, the whole place is infested with strangers.
Oh, hardly infested, Daddy.
It is not up to you to invite every Tom, Dick and Harry to spend the night.
Professor Meredith Jones is hardly every Tom, Dick and Harry, Father. He's a highly intelligent and educated man.
Intelligent? Intelligent, did you say?
Just because his views don't happen to coincide with yours doesn't mean to say that you have to be rude. Ever since I can remember, you've dinned into our heads the importance of being hospitable and polite.
That doesn't mean agree with everyone.
Look, I was only doing what you'd always told us to do all our lives.
Elizabeth, the man is a radical with extremely dangerous views.
What nonsense.
Dangerous to young and impressionable girls like you.
Rubbish.
It is not rubbish. Now, you listen to me and extremely carefully. Because I happen to be in a position to know exactly what is going on in Europe today.
And I suppose Gwilym doesn't. A professor at a university.
The man's an academic. Why, they go around with their heads in the clouds.
I would say the exact opposite. He is acutely socially aware.
I'm not saying he isn't. It's simply that he's wrong.
Wrong? To condemn the government, as he does, for spending money on armaments when masses of people live in slums and dreadful poverty.
Gross exaggeration.
It isn't. It can't be. What about the hunger marches? Thousands of people in Great Britain, in our country, are actually dying because they don't have enough to eat.
Yes, and does it occur to you that if we do not take appropriate steps to stop another European war, then thousands of people in many countries will die? Now, had you thought of that?
Father, you talk as though you knew there was going to be another war, when everybody knows that there isn't going to be any such thing.
All right, Liz. You have it your own way.
Look, what was I to do? You weren't here when Gwilym arrived. I had to make a decision. And anyway, as far as I'm concerned, when Mummy's away and I'm in charge, I have a perfect right to invite any guest I choose. Look, this man arrived. I asked him in and gave him a drink. Ordinary good manners.
That doesn't mean invite him to spend the night.
Look, he had nowhere else to go.
Oh, that is his lookout, and I really must insist that I will not give house room to a red pacifist.
You dislike him because he's Welsh, and that's narrow-minded, bigoted and cruel. I believe you'd persecute the Jews if you had the chance, like the Nazis.
Dare you say that to me?
I'm sorry, Daddy. You can't hate a man just because he belongs to another race.
I do not hate a man because of his race. I don't care whether he's Portuguese, Puerto Rican, or Welsh. You are willfully misunderstanding me, Liz. Because I simply said that his views are misjudged.
They're my views, too.
Oh, really? And since when?
Since a long time. I think he's an extremely intelligent and interesting man, and I like him very much.
That is patently obvious. Now, Elizabeth, these chaps are out to change everything. Destroy all the good old things.
Oh, yes.
Yes, the good old things. They do have a place, you know. They're a foundation. Something on which to build a framework for living. Yes, you may scorn me for being traditionalist and old-fashioned. I'm proud of it. Guard your faith, the old school motto said. And I intend to do just that. And the sooner that disruptive young man is out of this house, the better.
I can't believe it. Your mind is totally closed to all new ideas. I've misjudged you. All my life I've misjudged you.
But then I've misjudged you, as you're unstable.
I am not unstable.
Not to have your head turned so easily. You're totally irresponsible. Quite incapable of running this house.
I don't want to run your house. I want to be in London studying medicine. I'm not wasting my life here like this.
You study medicine? Oh, heaven help mankind. If ever such a stupid, immature, little girl should ever become a doctor.
I do hope Arthur's in a better mood this morning. Oh, there you are.
Yes, we ought to be going.
Well, I'm ready.
Yes, it's late. No, where are the girls?
Well, they were upstairs.
No, we don't have to wait for them, surely.
I want to get a move on. I'm reading the lesson this morning. I want to have a word with Morris before the service.
Well, we'll go on and leave the girls to follow.
Well, has anyone seen our Welsh friend?
He was in the muniment room poring over all those dusty maps and documents.
Well, so long as he doesn't muck 'em about too much.
I should think he'd treat them with the greatest possible care. After all, the fellow's a scholar.
Arthur, try and be civil to him at lunch. I can't take the atmosphere.
All right, Phil, I will try. I must say, I simply can't stand the fella.
No, they've gone already. We'll have to hurry.
Yes.
Come on, Liz.
I'm just going to see Mrs. Gates about the lunch. I'll catch you up.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. It's so dark in here.
Yeah, I missed you at breakfast.
Well, I wanted to get started in here early, see?
Yes, of course. Well, how are you getting on with England now?
Not bad at all. There's an old map of the area as it was hundreds of years ago. Now, where did I put that thing? Oh, damn it. I had it a moment ago. You need 6 pairs of hands for this job, and eyes like gimlets. It's absolutely essential you get every tiny scrap of paper. If you don't, you might miss some vital piece of information. Ah, here it is. No, it's not.
Here. Let me help you.
What? Oh, well, take hold of that bit. You get very dirty, you know, handling all these old papers.
Oh, I don't mind. It's all in a good cause.
You can always take another bathe in the river.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. I have something here that might amuse you.
What?
Where did I put that blessed thing?
Not again.
No, you'll never believe this.
You need a system.
And the secretary. Any offers?
Well, how much would you pay?
Oh, here it is. Now, let's see.
Oh, what is it?
It's a record of the Winchley Parish Register of 1835. Borrowed from the church, no doubt.
Well, so?
So it concerns your family, the Bournes.
Well, that's not so strange. After all, we've lived here for years.
Yes, I know you have, but this bit's really rather special.
I'd rather hear about Owen Glendower.
Oh, very well. Owen Glendower was a great scholar, you know.
Oh, as well as a soldier.
Yes, he went to London to study at the Inns of Court. He was a very cultivated and educated man. Keen on the arts, too.
Oh, I like the sound of him more and more.
Yes? People both loved and feared him. They thought he had supernatural powers, and many of them actually believed that he was, as Merlin predicted, the dragon who would destroy King Henry. He nearly did, too. Pity about the end of his life.
Though it was sad, was it?
Well, after the tide turned against him, the English gradually gained ground and drove him from one mountain stronghold to the next. It was said at one time that he had to disguise himself as a shepherd and live in a cave.
Oh, how romantic.
Yes, he was. Very romantic. But also very cruel. Took terrible revenge on some of his enemies. Make your hair curl to hear some of the things he did.
Well, tell me.
No, I don't think I'd better.
Pity. Well, what was this special thing that you'd found when I first came in?
Oh, yes, well, this old map. which I've now lost again. Well, it shows this graveyard quite near to Hereford. There's a reference to a tomb, some connection of the Mortimers, an important Welshman who died in 1416.
Oh, the year Glendower died?
Well, as far as is known.
The grave? Oh, so your hunch was right?
Well, it's a long shot, but you never know.
Oh, that's marvellous. So it was worth cycling all the way from Aberystwyth after all?
Yes, to meet such a lovely girl.
I meant your research.
Well, Arthur's still in a bleak mood. He read the lesson as if he was sentencing the entire congregation to 14 days without the option.
I know. He made me feel like an irredeemable sinner.
It was the last straw, Liz not coming to church. Daddy was furious.
Oh, you'll never guess all the fascinating things that William's found in the muniment room.
Oh, do tell.
Success?
Liz, your
Well,
hair
there's
looks a
evidence
mess.
that Owen Glendower might have died close to Halbury.
But that was your theory
Well,
anyway,
it's still
wasn't
all
it?
guesswork.
He's found all maps and all sorts of things.
Yes, and with any luck, one day I'll find the very house where, it won't be standing now, but the exact spot where Glendower died.
Couldn't be this house, could it?
No, I don't think so.
Just as well, under the circumstances.
Oh, and guess what else?
Well, what else?
Go on, William, tell them.
Oh, no, I don't think I'd better.
Oh, but you must.
Come on, you must tell us what you found.
Well...
Arthur must not be told.
What shouldn't Arthur be told?
That lunch is going to be late.
Oh, is it? Oh, what a pity.
Well, did you find what you wanted in the muniment room?
Oh, the professor found all sorts of things.
About Owen Glendower, Arthur.
Good.
Old papers, charts, maps, everything I wanted. I made a lot of notes. I'm really most grateful, Commander.
Well, I'm very glad. It's nice to be of some help.
That's an excellent set of local historical documents you've got there. One day you should get them all sorted and indexed.
Oh, perhaps one day when I have time, we might get around to that.
Well, I think I'll be off.
Off now?
Well, I think I'd better be on my way.
What? Aren't you staying to lunch, old chap?
Oh, but you must.
No, I don't think so. It's a long way home, and I'd rather not cycle on a full stomach.
Well, at least let us make you some sandwiches.
Oh, well, Elizabeth, no, thank you. I'll stop at a public house near the border, or a cafe.
I do think it's a pity you have to go.
Well, so do I.
Oh, don't forget your notes, Professor.
Oh, good heavens, thank you very much. Well, now I'm ready. Goodbye, Mr. Ashley.
Goodbye, and it has been nice to meet you.
Goodbye, Miss Bourne.
Bye, ride carefully.
Bye, Vicky.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Commander Bourne, and thank you again for all your hospitality.
Oh, please don't mention it.
I'll show you to the door.
Oh, right.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Well, good luck with your research.
Right. Thank you. Bye.
Oh, Gwilym, will I ever see you again?
Elizabeth.
I've only just met you and now you're rushing off like this. Do you have to so soon?
Well, I think it's better, don't you? Don't want to risk upsetting your father again.
And to hell with my father. He's no stick in the mud.
He'll hear you. Now, you take mind of your father. There's a lot to be said for tradition.
To hell with tradition. Will I ever see you again?
Of course. Why not? We'll be back in these parts before you can say, Owen Glendower. Got to look at the place on the map.
But when?
Well, don't know exactly. I'll have to fix up my lecture schedule at the university. Get some proper time off. I'll write and let you know as soon as it's fixed up.
Will you? Will you really?
Of course. Just said so, didn't I? Now, you go back in or they'll think there's something going on between us two. There was no looking, I'd kiss you.
Gwilym.
See you soon. Bye.
Goodbye.
An extraordinary chap. I suppose it takes all sorts.
I rather like the fellow. I bet he's a good historian. I shall read his books.
I thought he was perfectly charming. And so did Liz, didn't you, darling?
She did.
Well, if you'll excuse me, I'll just go and see about lunch.
I suppose I could be mistaken about the fella. Then I must say I shall never bring myself to worship the Welsh, that much.
Is that your carefully considered opinion, Father dear?
Why, yes, it is.
Oh, in that case, I have some news for you.
No, Liz.
I'm sorry, but I think there's something Daddy should know.
No,
Go
Liz,
on.
I don't think... No, come on. Now, what is this that I should know?
Well, it may interest you to know, Father dear, that as a result of the research carried out in your muniment room in this house, and with your permission, it has come to light that, in 1788, one Benjamin William Bourne, an ancestor of ours, sired an illegitimate son whom they christened Joshua David Evan Bourne, whose mother was a Welsh dairymaid. And that child, by some devious legal arrangement, succeeded his father, thus ensuring the very definite presence of Welsh blood in the veins of this family. Just thought I'd like you to know.
Ha ha.